Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 150 people in 10 different countries. This is the November 2024 twin set, healing 1 of 2. And the next healing is in 2 days on Tuesday. And the theme of all the 5 healings this month is family boundaries and proactive self-care for this chapter in your life and the next chapter in your life. Even if you have no idea what that next chapter would be, you can still do proactive clearing of energy blocks and baggage so that it's more smooth sailing for you than it would otherwise be. So family boundaries and proactive clearing are not necessarily the same theme at all. So it's like a dual theme that we're working. And today in this healing, we will also be working some things that benefit the sinuses. Sinuses as in, nasal cavities in your head and sleep. But working the sinuses can help other things as well, as like your mind, your focus. So it's not exactly about your sinuses. I mean, it helps your sinuses, but energy boundaries. This seems to be pretty affected by how unblocked you are in your sinuses and in front of your sinuses. So I will explain that more in a few minutes. The sinuses stuff that we'll be doing. The sleep stuff, I probably won't preview it until we do it. Just because I don't think it would help if I talked about it a lot ahead of just doing it. So I'll explain and do during the healing for the sleep part. Family boundaries. I don't know that I'm going to preview a lot on what I'm going to do with family boundaries. One thing I do want to preview is it kind of ties into talking a bit about what we did in the last healing, which was the 3rd healing in the triplet set. We did Unmatched Global Pain probably a few times in the triplet set earlier this month. And then in the final healing of the triplet set, which was on a Tuesday, November 5th, we did Unmatched National Pain as well as Unmatched Global Pain, which can help with political boundaries and stuff. And so today we're going to take that several steps further, and we'll do that again, but we'll unmatch family pain. And then we'll also unmatch group pain. For example, if you have a group of like work colleagues or a group of like you and your clients, that kind of work group or a social group, something that's not just strictly family. You can intuitively pick the energy blocks that you have that are too similar to what everyone else has and clear them so that it's less likely that you'll be tangled up in lots of cords. Is when people have matching energy blocks, it's far more challenging to keep boundaries with those people because there's this subconscious instinct to sort of link up the similar baggage. So sometimes you might find that, you're like, well, why does this person keep courting me, And I guess you could flip it around and say, well, why are they able to keep courting you? And part of that could be that you just have a lot of matching energy blocks. You have a lot kind of in common with that person, even if you really dislike that person. Like, some kind of past life fear of authority or past life relationship related resentments, or doesn't mean that you guys shared some fabulous experience in order to have the matching pain, or maybe you didn't share experiences at all. It's just what you're stuck about is too close to what they're stuck about subconsciously, and so hence all the courting that keeps happening. So anyway, so I think that will be a nice and easy and effective thing about today. I did want to mention that one thing that was especially effective in the third healing of the triplet set that we just did recently, and all the healings of this month will be in the same playlist, which is already linked in the info section of this event, this live stream, and later in the info section of it when it's a video. There's a playlist of all the videos from this month, healing videos, because they're all on family boundaries and proactive clearing. But anyway, the third healing of the triplet set, we also did heal walled off parts of you. So parts of you that you're kind of like, that's not there. That's not a part of me. And then subconsciously, there's denial that causes you to build a wall between you and parts of you. And that can lead to trouble often, boundary issues, issues where you're whacking people but you don't know you're doing it, or you're courting people but you don't know you're doing it, and whatever. So that, I think, was possibly the most consequential thing we did in the third healing, was healing walled off parts of you. So if you didn't do any of the techniques, and you're thinking, oh, it would have been nice to do one of them, you can go back and do that one of healed walled off parts of you. If I had to pick one most consequential aspect of that healing, it would probably be that. Judging from what I saw in people's surveys. Not that people picked that out, but I picked it out when I was looking at why the healing made such a difference for people. And there were a lot of strong aspects of it, but that one was sort of head and shoulders above the others as far as consequence. It's because it's so easy to get yourself in trouble when you wall off part of you, and it's a subconscious thing that people do. So it's good to check for that and find those parts and heal those parts of you, so you get the energy back and you don't have, some part of you doing things that you have no idea about and getting into trouble that you have to deal with. So there's that. But I don't know that we will do that today, which is why I'm just mentioning it in case you want to go back to it. The heal walled off parts of you. Okay, so then I think now I will go into a little more detail on something that I've already mentioned. Okay, so clearing sinus masks. So what the heck is a sinus mask? So this is something that, a term I'm making up, of course, yet again. Maybe years from now, someone will have to remind me what the heck I meant by sinus mask. But it's this thing where you, this is explaining, this isn't doing, we'll do later during the healing, of course. But, but okay, so your sinuses, right? We've been healing those in a couple healings lately. This month, I don't know if we did it last month. Yeah, we did do it last month because it had to do with sound boundaries, like telepathic boundaries and stuff. Because your sinuses are related to nonverbal communication, like hearing and communicating, as well as obviously they're really useful for you personally, just to be able to breathe properly. And function. But so these are the sinus cavities, and the nasal cavity and the sinus sinuses, and the different colors represent different sinuses that you have, which are basically like hollow parts of bones, but they're lined with like mucous membrane that secretes mucus and helps you function, helps you, I think it helps you like you don't breathe in as much bacteria, it like kind of catches that up and whatever. All the medical stuff it does. It does good medical stuff, okay? But it's energetically, it's really it can be very well, just on a physical level, it can be very uncomfortable when your sinuses are blocked up, but even energetically, it's a big deal, your sinuses. So if you unblock them more, you can be present there more, so you can have better flow, and it can actually affect the functioning, the physical functioning of the sinuses, how present you are in that area, and how unblocked it is, and how flowing it is, and how basically energy safe it is. So like your mom can't just beam a bunch of her energy in there and pop you out of your head and block up your sinuses physically. For example, your mom. Don't want to scapegoat mom. Some people do have quite invasive mothers, but other people don't. And I'm totally jealous of you if you don't. But anyway, so the point is, lately I've been noticing, I mean, I've always said, and this is true for every body part that we work, like shoulders and, pelvic area and everything, the aura around it is at least as important as the area itself. So like your sinuses, you want those unblocked, you want to be present there, but like right in front of there is very key. Like, because if you have a lot of energy blocks there, people can kind of cord the blocks and shoot their energy in further, which at some point I call them stepping stone blocks, because it just allows people to get deeper in. But it's just any energy blocks are like that. People can cord them, and then it allows them to go deeper into your space. So unblocking right in front is a big deal. I'm going to take off my glasses because I don't want to get them dirty by gesturing in this area. So anyway, what the heck is a sinus mask? So that's my way of saying like your aura right in front of this area. Because when you look at like an energy block that's sort of plastered in this area right in front of, say, your eyes, your face, your sinuses, it looks like a mask, like clairvoyantly, if you imagine it. It's like as if you took a piece of tin, like a really thick piece of tin foil, and you just like shaped it to your face by smushing it, and then you lift it off. Like that's what it looks like. It's like, and some sinus masks like just cover like around your around your nose area. Some of them cover, because you do have sinus cavities right here, like above your eyebrows. Those in the diagram, they're shown at green. So those are sinus cavities too. And that's like right below your sixth chakra, or kind of like overlapping the bottom of your sixth chakra, the very bottom of it. So anyway, like sinus masks, you can have them in the physical body aura, right in front of your physical body sinuses, but you can have like at least as many, if not more, in your astral body in that location. So like right in front of your astral face, and they could be blocks from past lives. They could be just blocks, people's energy that just built up there because they were cording, and it just ended up forming like a mask. So I don't mean that you're hiding from somebody by wearing a mask. I don't mean it in that sense. I just mean it ends up looking like a mask because it kind of takes on the shape of your face right there. You can lift them off and give them to the angels, and you want to melt cords going into them first, and then ask the angels to recycle any invasive beings that are connected to them. And then you could melt them with gold light, or you could just take them off, give them to your angels, or you could take them off and blow them up. Whatever you like. But anyway, the more that's unblocked there, then you can be in your head and your eyes and your sixth chakra and your fifth chakra, and just like things work better. It's like an energy safety thing. And it's It could help your clairvoyance too, because your sixth chakra is right there. So if you don't have so much gunk there and you're more present in your sixth chakra, then, you know, potentially you'd be able to at least have better subconscious vision and more non-judgment, which is also sixth chakra. So it's a win-win. But you may be able to tolerate, like, because like oftentimes in the past, if I have dairy, not butter, but like milk and stuff, like my sinuses will block up. I'll get very phlegmy. But if I clear a bunch of these sinus masks, I find that my sinuses can actually clear. Like maybe, you know, it would take a lot of clearing to clear them fully, you know, so it might be just easier to not eat cheese. And I don't eat much of it anyway, but I've been kind of pushing the envelope a little bit with it lately, just because I want to see like how much unblocking I can do and how many sinus masks I can clear and keep my, you know, unblocked sinuses and eat a little bit of cheese. So again, don't, you know, don't rely solely on energy clearing. It's just that I like to push the envelope a little bit because I need to be able to learn to be able to teach people, you know. So if I wasn't a teacher, I probably would I might just not eat cheese because that would be easier. And I'd be more unblocked here. But anyway, so that's clearing sinus masks. And again, it's not just so you can breathe well and not have sinus pressure. It's like a focus. It helps with focus and presence, boundaries with people. So there's that. Oh. Oh my goodness, all at once. So the thumbs up are for you. You are fabulous. And if you could consider, if you want, giving this live stream a thumbs up, and later if it's a video and you haven't given it a thumbs up yet, please give it a thumbs up because it does help more people to find this kind of thing and heal themselves. So good thing. So that's sinuses, clearing sinus masks, which we will do today. It should be interesting. What else? Oh, okay. I will do a little bit, like a few minutes of discussing politics and energy stuff related to politics. So I'm going to put the banner up so people have plenty of time to mute it if they don't want to hear about any of that. Political. Okay. So political energy chit chat begins now. So be sure to mute, or, you know, later you can fast forward to the next chapter. You know, within a day, there'll be chapters right here. And so you can skip it if you wish that way. But otherwise, if you're listening live and you don't want to hear anything about political views or the energy of it and, you know, energy boundaries and the US election, that kind of discussion, just stop listening now until that little heading changes and I'm talking about something different. Okay, so politics. So the last healing that we did was Tuesday, November 5th, the third healing in the triplet set. And it was the also, it was the day of the US election, although, you know, many people, including me, voted in advance. But that was the final day of the US election, let's say, where people can vote. And so, no, I did not know in advance who would win. Personally, I was hoping that Kamala would win, which most of you that know me would know that I would think that way. So no shock for anybody, I would think. But I think it's good to talk about for a few reasons. Just like how, you know, I mean, I don't typically read the future. I don't typically try to read the future, but there are times where it's possible to kind of see maybe what is about to happen because things happen ahead of time on the astral, like sometimes several days in advance. at least one day in advance, but sometimes many days in advance, like even a week in advance sometimes. So if you read what happened on the astral, then you might know what's going to happen. I guess it's not set in stone, but it's tends to be that way, that the big things happen ahead of time on the astral first before they happen on the physical plane. There were a few reasons why I didn't know. I mean, I wasn't really trying to know, I guess. I think, I mean, the triplets, I take my work really seriously. And so, it was during a triplet set. So for me, I mean, that may seem odd, but, I voted, I've been donating politically, but I figured, okay, that's what I did. And now my job is to do my best with the triplet set. So I didn't really want to know what was going to happen. And I didn't want to focus on it much in advance. But I think too, one point I wanted to make is sometimes you're not meant to know things. And so if you have that ability where sometimes things happen on the astral first and you might be likely to check, but if you're not supposed to know, like your angels think it won't be in your best interest to know, your angels can block you from knowing. And so I think for me that was a factor, because I really wanted to focus on doing my best with the healing, and then afterwards I have to do all the chapter timestamps, and I have to write the healing summary and get out the survey to people. And so as early results were coming in from the election, I was purposefully not watching that so I could finish my work. I was working late into the night as usual doing all that. But so that's one thing. I think also the angels didn't want me to know because I'm a teacher of really capable people. And so if I knew consciously, even if I didn't say it, probably people would be able to read, the veterans and some of the, motivated intermediate people might be able to read my energy and what I thought was going to happen, so keeping me ignorant of it was probably better in that sense, that if the angels didn't want many people to know and they also didn't want me to know, then just don't have me know. So anyway, it's the long story short, sometimes you're just not meant to know. So maybe some people did know in advance, and that's maybe because it was in their best interest, and they allow their angels to kind of guide them with their abilities, and so what they're meant to know. So anyway, I would suggest that for people. I mean, angels can block no matter what if they wanted to block you from knowing something, but it's always nice if you are just cooperating with your angels, because the angels are very respectful. That's why I always say angels, 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 because there are a lot of spirits out there that pretend to be, spiritual advisors or spirit, whatever, but they're not angels. And so many of them would not be trustworthy and would be invasive. So I keep saying angels because that's a specific type of spirit that is respectful. But anyway, so I had no idea. Long story short, I knew it wasn't looking great by the time I sent out the survey email late at night, but most of the time when I was working on the healing summary and everything, I did not know at all. And interestingly enough, I think during the evening, Tuesday evening, I did kind of glance at Kamala's energy and Trump's energy on a conscious level. And I noticed that Kamala's energy was more hopeful and kind of cautiously excited, and Trump's energy was very cranky and irritable. So I assumed from that the results were leaning in Kamala's direction. But now in retrospect, it seems like, Trump is just a cranky person, period. And he has a lot of repressed anger. So, that skewed my analysis. I didn't factor in the fact that Trump's always cranky, so because I think, now in hindsight, at that time when I took a quick glance at their energy, it was looking more like it was leaning in Trump's favor, the results, but I just, was kind of, I didn't want to really spend much time on it. I didn't want to get distracted, So, anyway, long story short, just as I know some people were curious about that. Like, did you know ahead of time? It seems like you didn't, but what? So no, I didn't know. But whatever. So, but it is clear, in retrospect, that the angels helped out a lot with, because we did a lot of different clearing techniques for political boundaries. In that whole triplet set. And we probably did some even late the month prior, political boundary stuff. But, all that clearing stuff that we did in the last triplet set, this month, I think really helped me and others to be able to not match global pain and national pain, regarding US elections. And to be able to process what happened more easily than they would have. So I think even though the angels blocked me from knowing, consciously where the election was going to end up, they definitely helped me out a lot, emphasizing, okay, let's clear about politics. Let's clear about election baggage. Let's. So if you need that, I don't know that we'll do any of that today, maybe just a teeny bit, but if you need it, there's a lot of it in the last triplet set, which is also in this, same playlist of November 2024, political boundaries type exercises. And I guess too, part of me on a personal level just regrets, the results of the election and regrets the effect that would have on like NATO countries and, outside of the US and, within the US, of course, and whatever. But I feel like, something I say usually is, like there's always good news with energy healing, which is true. That like, being a good self-healer with energy clearing, energy healing, energy repair techniques comes in handy the most when things are shitty. So if there are shitty aspects of US politics right now, and therefore potentially slightly shittier aspects for global politics, potentially right now, it's a great time to know energy healing techniques and to use them on yourself. So that's the good news aspect of it, that this stuff was designed for the tough times. These techniques are designed to help you flourish regardless of what is going on in the external world. So there's that. You can't go wrong with reinvesting in your self-care and energy clearing and energy healing and all that good stuff. So hopefully that's the good news. All right, enough of that. So now I'm just going to briefly look at chat comments, and then we'll do the 3 minutes of quiet where I finish my prep, and then we'll do the energy healing finally. And I will say out loud what I do as I do it. So it is an all levels self-healing walkthrough if you wish to heal yourself while you watch. And if I'm healing you, you don't have to do anything at the same time. You could sleep, you could, drive your kids somewhere, you could work, you could whatever. You could also heal yourself at the same time though. That's fine too. It doesn't get in the way at all. Okay. So looking at chat comments. Thank you for your comments. I can see and hear you. Thank you. You look great. Oh, you're too kind. Someone says hello. Hello to you. Someone says hello, Janet. 53 degrees Fahrenheit, gray and cloudy in Michigan. Well, thank you for the weather report. Yeah, I don't think it's 50 here. Probably maybe 41 or something here, but whatever. It's going to be gray and cloudy often here. It's whether it's like windy, gray and cloudy and rainy, or just gray and cloudy. Someone says hello, Janet. Can see and hear you. Thank you. Can see and hear you. Thank you. Sunny and 41 in Evergreen, Colorado. Well, at least you got the sunny. Hey, Janet. We can see and hear you in Chicago. 55 and sunny. Wow, that seems kind of fabulous for mid-November. Someone says, hello, I can see and hear you from Las Vegas, Nevada, 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, hello to you. That sounds pretty nice. Hello from Ottawa, Canada. Hello to my saner neighbors up north. Someone says, I can even listen to the political discussion today. How about that? See, you've clearing unmatched global pain, unmatched national pain, unmatched, clearing political baggage. Works wonders. Good for you. Someone says, hi, Janet from dark and cloudy Portland, but you are uplifted. Well, good. I'm glad. Yes. Living in the PNW, you learn how to counteract the cloudy weather. You learn to have inner sunshine and also a sun lamp that tricks your brain into thinking that it's not so cloudy out. Alrighty. Okay, so I will do a little newbie especially comments. So I'll say for newbies, but it's for everybody, but especially for newbies. I'm gonna have to figure out when people buy my sets how to like make people write their name, because when it used to be you had to use PayPal to buy my sets. PayPal, makes you have an account, makes you say your first name and your last name, yada yada. Like PayPal doesn't mess around. But the new payment page I have, you don't have to use PayPal, which I like that you don't have to use PayPal. You can just, put a credit card in and blah, blah, blah. And technically it's Stripe that processes the payment. But they don't need your name at all. They're like, what's your email address? Good enough. Okay, there you go. You did it. You paid. Meanwhile, I'm like, okay, and you are who? So fortunately, a lot of people, I've worked with them before, and so I can look up their email address and be like, oh, that's so-and-so, right? But, I love working with new people, but the downside, there's a teeny downside, is that I don't know who they are. When they pay, I just know blah, blah, blah at gmail.com. So I'm going to have to change that so people will have to say their name when they buy, which is slightly a downer because I like how quick and easy the purchase process is. So sorry about that, guys, that I'm going to have to force people to say their name just because there is a comment field, but people don't feel the need to write their name there, even if they've never worked with me before. So I'm going to have to force people to say, who are you? What is your name? So if you notice that in the future when you're buying healing sets from me, I apologize, if I know your name. Oh well. So that's new. So in the meantime, if like today you buy something on my website, a healing set, please tell me who you are in the note field if I don't already know you really well. And I do love working with new people. Absolutely. 100%. It's just, I need to know first and last names because that's how I can read energy really easily. If I know the name. Good. First and last name. I need both. But anyway, so there's that. Also for newbies, you may not realize that I'm healing the people that purchased this set of healings. So they first go on sale 2 months in advance, but sometimes I put extra spots up for sale, so they may be for sale. You know, like for example, now I think there's 1 spot left for the December triplet set, which I know is the universe testing my non-resistance and my my patience. Most of them sold really fast, but then it's like there were 3 left, and then there was 2 left, and no, there's like forever. There's still 1 left. But whatever. So there is 1 spot left for the December triplet set. I may have a waiting list on that one in case, because I like to hit 150 each time now. And, you know, from little dramas, sometimes they'll be like, I'll have an extra spot left that I didn't put up for sale. So if you really would like a certain set, you could email me and see if there's a waiting list for a certain set, even if it's sold out. But anyway, January sets are what is really you know, plenty of them are for sale, at least right now. They went on sale 2 days ago. So January healing sets are for sale. And the theme, if I remember it correctly, it's like a cool like yin and yang kind of a theme where it's like courage and boldness and then self-nurturing and intuition. So it's like very, I do really like that, you know, yin and yang kind of balancing thing where it's like, okay, let's work courage and boldness, but let's also work self-nurturing and intuition. You know, I think that's going to be very nice. So that's January. And you could, even though this theme is the same for both healing sets, you could gain a lot more by doing both sets if you wish. You don't have to, of course, but you know, a lot of people do all my sets, and you're welcome to as well, but you don't have to. Which hopefully is obvious. What else that newbies might not know? You can heal using gold light with your hands. If you can't move your hands, you could imagine gold suns or gold hoses kind of directing that you use, you know, to direct. But, you know, if you can't move your hands, or you can imagine gold suns all around you and direct them to you that way. I heal with a copy a lot, even if I'm just healing myself. And that's what I do in these healings. You could do that as well. There are several benefits of that. So you just imagine a copy of yourself out in front of you, and all this stuff you can do even if you can't see energy. Generally, clairvoyance, the ability to see your own energy, develops over time. So it's not something that, you know, you try and you're like, oh, this is easy, I can do it. You know, it's not like that. You try to envision your energy, probably all you see is black for like a long time. And then you begin to be able to see outlines, and you're like, wait a minute, I can really tell that leg is more black than that one. And if I unblock it, whoa, I can kind of feel the difference. That's wild, you know? So over time, things wake up like that. Your abilities wake up, but they're there. Just don't be discouraged if they're not consciously accessible to you right away. You can, all the stuff you can do with intention, with your thought as well. But anyway, you make a copy out in front of you with your intention or your thought of you, all your 17 auras, your physical body and your astral body are inside there, and then your 2 groundings that connect you to the core of the earth. So I'll be, you know, we'll work all that, but you can make a copy of just one thing, like just both your groundings and unblock it, or everything, the auras, the groundings, your astral body, your physical body. You can spin your copy around. Gold light, you can, all chakras generate energy. You have a ton of chakras in your body and your spirit. But you have a big one in the palm of each hand, which I call your hand chakras. And then you have a fingertip chakra, one in each fingertip. And so that energy comes out like that. And this energy comes out like that. So if you set these hand chakras to be, you know, hand and fingertip chakras to be a metallic gold color, just with your intention, you don't have to see gold energy to do it, but you set it with your intention. So then by the chakra being that color, then that's the color it's generating of energy that it's generating. So then you're generating gold energy, and you use that to unblock and melt away, you know, clogs and repair when you're healing yourself. And I have videos about chakras and blah, 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 and all that, the more you want to know. But I teach people at all levels. So you could do this work and not, you know, memorize every chakra and what everything does and blah, blah, blah. You can do sort of like a dabbling level of it, or you can learn more and more and more. It's totally fine either way, and it works either way. So enough said. So during this 3 minutes of quiet, I'm finishing up my prep. I'm saying hello to the 150 people that I'll be healing telepathically, which is non-verbally. And then I'm starting the healing in silence for about a minute. And then after that, I'll start talking out loud, and the whole rest of it functions also as a walkthrough. So it's me telling you what I'm doing, which you could use as a walkthrough if you want. So now I will finally be quiet for 3 minutes. 3 glorious minutes of silence. Okay, thank you for waiting. So let's do grounding first, and then we'll clear stubborn triggered energy blocks. Alrighty, triggered in part by what I discussed earlier. All right, so just redo both of your groundings, make them big and wide as all your auras, all the way down to the core of the earth. So wide all the way down. Make them both the same color, either red or orange or yellow. La la la. Because those colors are best for your lower chakras. Bring up your groundings as high as your third chakra. So third chakra is below where the sternum bone ends. So for me, it's right here. In case you care. So below the sternum bone. So bring up both your groundings that high. And sometimes, even if you do work on unblocking your grounding regularly, you can have a piece of energy blocking your grounding that everybody's corded to, and maybe you're avoiding. And the more you avoid it, the more it stays there, the more everyone cords it. And so sometimes you have to kind of train yourself to look for, okay, what's the disaster area in my grounding that I'm not seeing? And even if you don't see it, just be like, okay, this is the disaster area in my grounding, and just blow up the junk, melt the cords, keep melting the cords. A lot of times if you melt the cords, the blocks clear really easily. But if you don't clear the cords first, then it's like this sort of this tug of war. So find the most blocked up part of your grounding, melt everybody's cords going into that part, and then melt the blocks. So find the most blocked part of your grounding, even if it's a part that you're pretending is not there. Melt cords going into it. And blow it up or melt it away. Indie grounding is where you check the outer surface all the way down of your groundings and use gold light and melt away anything that's sticking out, any attachments to other people's grounding, any hard objects. Just melt all that away. If you have people in your life that, I mean, I think everybody probably has people in their life that are manipulative, but sometimes, you know, you might be more aware of that. And so one nice thing to do is to keep changing. Because if people are trying to manipulate you, even just subconsciously, they want you to be predictable. It's easier if you're predictable. If you're always stuck on the same thing, you're always, you know, you kind of have the same vibe all the time. It's easy. They know where you're stuck. They know where your weaknesses are. They could just cord there and puppet you, you know. So changing the color of your grounding is one way that you cannot be so predictable. So don't make your grounding always red or always orange or always yellow, because that makes you predictable. And if you have people trying to manipulate you, you know, it's harder for them if you're different every time. I mean, you don't have to change like incessantly, but, you know, just a heads up on that. Don't be the same all the time. So allow yourself to have the grounding that you need today. You know, that can be sort of a positive way of thinking about it, rather than, you know, that you're in the witness protection program and you have to keep changing so that it can't get you. You don't want to lean too much in the whole, you know, reacting to the fact that people are trying to manipulate you, you know, just, but if you customize your grounding to what you need at this moment, that does it too. You know, the exact shade of red that you need at this moment, or orange or yellow that you need at this moment. And again, if you feel like you have people that tend to manipulate you, look for the part of your grounding that they kind of hang out in, and just melt their cords out of there, and then melt all the junk, all the blocks out of there. Because it's like you want to be careful not to give so much power to people that you think are manipulating you. Like, you always can be less easily manipulated. You know what I mean? You can always clear your baggage so that it's hard for them to cord you. You know, so if you find baggage, it's like a hangout. If you find a hangout for some manipulative person in your grounding, well, it's not exactly about them. You know what I mean? Because they couldn't have made that their hangout if you didn't have a bunch of your baggage there already. I don't mean like victim blaming, you know, it's your fault. Try not to think about it as anybody's fault. It's just a, you know, you clear them out, but then keep going, you know, and clear out the baggage that was there before them that you just were kind of having trouble with, you know. Just melt everybody's cords out of your baggage and melt the suck energy. Again, that's a good way to be less predictable, less easily manipulated. you know, a way that you've been stuck for 10 years and you're grounding now, all of a sudden you're not stuck there. Right? That makes you harder to control because you're not so predictable. All right. So that's grounding. Clearing STEBs, stubborn triggered energy blocks. Usually we do this at the end of the healing, but since I talked about stuff during, you know, before the healing started that may have been triggering, you can just stack up, make a big pile of any energy blocks that you have that are triggered, that are annoying you, that are irritating you, that are upsetting you. And just bring up red earth energy and soak your pile with red earth energy. Use a lot of gold light and melt away anybody's cords going into these energy blocks. From anybody, from me, from your neighbor, from your partner, from your best friend, from your frenemy, whoever. Don't worry about who they're from. Just melt all the cords and then melt the energy blocks or blow them up. And if any are not blowing up, you can just hand them to your angels and say, angels, can you help me with these? And then you can put another pile out in front of you, any stubborn triggered energy blocks that haven't cleared yet, even though you did this phenomenal grounding experience. And just stack up all the stubborn triggered energy blocks, bring up red earth energy, use cold light, melt cords going into these blocks. And then melt the blocks. And if any are left over, just give them to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? All right, good job. Woo woo. Okay, so now we're gonna do aura repair of all your auras at the same time, all the rips and all the auras at the same time. You could do it a different way, which we won't do right now, is just kind of geek out and find a specific part of your aura that has rips and just do that kind of localized repair one area at a time. Like say if you have some rips in front of your tummy and then you have some behind your head. So first you do one area, then the other area. So that's an option, but that's not what we're gonna do right now. Well, that's not what I'm gonna do right now. So you could just repair them all at once, and that is more newbie friendly too, because maybe you don't trust your intuition about, or your vision about where the localized areas are, and so you just repair everything at once. So use composite copy technique, which means you create an image of a rip and you say with your intention, like, okay, this rip represents all the rips in my 17 auras. And as I repair this rip, then that will repair all of the rips. So you just have your composite copy rip, and you want to clean out the rip first so that the gold light penetrates well and does a good repair job. So to clean it out, use sticky gold wax. So it's gold light from your hands that with your intention, it'll stick to everything that's not you in the rip, including hard objects, including invasive people, invasive beings. So just have it all stick together like a big lump. And so you have it's like a big gold lump of junk, and just lift it out. Angels, here you go. So once again, sticky gold wax, catch all the junk, lift out the junk. Angels, here you go. So then you use more gold light and get it as deep as you can into the composite copy rip. You can also send gold from below and just keep repairing. And if there are any sort of stubborn hard objects, you can kind of pop them out and have them explode as they pop out. Hard objects would be there if someone threw them at you. It's usually done subconsciously. Okay, so then we'll do one more because that probably repaired most of your rips, but you may have a couple ones that were a little stubborn. So we'll do the same process again, just for any leftover rips. So make a composite copy rip, and with your intention, say, okay, well, this represents any leftover rips that are still there. And sticky gold wax, have all the junk come out as a lump. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, get rid of all that junk. Angels, here you go. So now the gold light should be able to penetrate better. You can also say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? Alrighty. So then you can just double check the outer surface for any like teeny weeny little leaks that may be left over, and just do a little extra repair if you feel any of those. They might feel like, if you have a beach ball and there's like a leak and it sort of, air kind of goes, pss, pops out of it. That's how aura leaks might feel if they're tiny. Aura rips, though, can be just so giant that it looks like you're missing half of your aura. But well, hopefully we've got all those now. So we're just doing like the little finishing touches. We can go through also and repair gold mesh spheres. So those are, so you're repairing 17 auras at once. And one of those is the astral body aura, which is part of you as a spirit. Your astral body is you, the part of you that can come fully present into your physical body. So your astral body has an aura. It has major chakras, and those generate layers of an aura. So that's your astral body aura. Your physical body aura, same thing. Your physical body chakras generate your physical body aura. Goes all around you. But then you have 15 Wei Chi auras. Wei Chi, W-E-I space C-H-I, and that's boundaries energy, your boundaries energy, and they're a part of you as a spirit. And each of those Wei Chi auras has 3 gold mesh spheres in it. So the inner one, middle one, and outer one. And those wrap all around you. And when they're repaired, they look cool. They look like gold mesh. And they generate lots of gold light, which is how these Wei Chi auras are filled with lots of gold light. But, as with everything, they can get damaged. So you can just, imagine a copy out in front of you of all your auras and just be extra aware of the Wei Chi aura gold mesh spheres. And just send the gold light to where they're ripped and work on repairing them. Let the gold light cause them to grow back. Especially if you have like an area where you feel like uncomfortable, like extra tension, double check and repair the gold mesh spheres in that area. All right, good enough. And you can redo your gold buffer zones. There's one for your astral body aura, one for your physical body aura. They're just big gold buffers. And I do have a video that explains them and teaches you how to make them. If you search Janet Wright gold buffer zones, you'll find it on YouTube. Okay, good job, good job, good job. So that was aura repair. We could do some aura unblocking, but I think that we'll move on to chakra repair. Creative ring work. Yeah, we'll do creative ring stuff first. Okay, so your creative rings, and also I'll probably throw in unblocking all your major chakras. We're going to repair them though right afterwards, so I don't want to get too lopsided, but I think when you're unblocking your creative rings, you could also unblock all your major chakras along your spine because it's right directly under there. So your creative rings are up here, 1, 2, 3. They come and go with you as a spirit. They're part of your astral body energy system. They're gold if they're properly cleaned off and repaired. And you can just make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings and repair them and unblock them and melt quartz going into them from other people. They have flaps, and you want to see that the flaps are not like this. This is not what you want them to look like. You want them to, the outer surface of each of the 3 rings to be smooth like a ring. But this is where the flaps stick out and they're irritated, and that's because there are pairs of cords going into them from invasive people or invasive beings or both, and that extra energy going in is irritating the ring and popping out the flaps, and that makes it easier for other people to gorge you too. So like a shitty ripple effect. Shitty chain reaction. But anyway, so but it's a good diagnostic when you're checking and repairing your creative rings. Be like, okay, are the flaps popped open or are they nice and relaxed and shut and smooth? So you can just keep melting cords so that the flaps can relax and fall shut, and you don't have overwhelming energy coming into your creative rings. Because your creative rings, they have such a strategic location. They're right, above your 7th chakra and right above all your major chakras. So you definitely don't want that to be a place where a lot of energy that's not yours comes in, because then it's got to go somewhere. So it'll probably go down to your major chakras. So, but if it's nice and repaired and everything, and it's just you and the flaps are shut and it does its job, then it generates a lot of gold light, which is really good. And so it's a nice protective little force field, and then more gold gets sent down to your chakras. So when it's good, it's very good. When it's bad, it's very bad. Kind of. Although the words good and bad are judgy, but you get my point. Like your creative rings can really, really benefit you. But if you ignore them, you could be fucked. Kind of. I mean, you could subconsciously heal them, but most people don't. Okay, so you could use sticky gold wax to further unblock your creative rings, and you can use sticky gold wax at the same time on all your major chakras. So your major chakras are along your spine. They're the 7 chakras, That's usually what people mean when they say your chakras. But with me, I'm thinking of all of them. Why I say major versus all of them. But anyway, so your 7 astral body chakras and your 7 physical body chakras. They're both along your spine. And so you can, sticky gold wax is where, the gold light from your hand sticks to whatever's not you, right? So just do sticky gold wax in and around your creative rings, get them on the inside surfaces, and then have the sticky gold wax go down through all your 7 astral body chakras and 7 physical body chakras, and your Kundalini chakra, why not, which is below your physical first chakra. Add that, put sticky gold wax on that too. And you're just gonna have the wax stick to all the junk that's not you, that you're ready to remove, that's healthy and gentle for you to remove right now. And then just move out the wax all at once with the junk. Angels, here you go. Couple deep breaths. Maybe, stretch gently. Again, sticky gold wax for your creative rings and all your major chakras, and also Kundalini chakra, why not? Below your physical body first chakra. Sticky gold wax the whole thing. Have the wax stick to everything that's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now, including hard objects, invasive beings, invasive people, cords, yada yada. Move all that junk out. Angels, here you go. And if you have any invasive beings in the way of you unblocking that area, you can just line them up like a bunch of clouds and just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? You can do that one more time if there are any invasive beings in the way of you unblocking and being present in your creative rings and all your major chakras. Just imagine them like a bunch of clouds. Say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? Okay, so now we will use composite copy technique again to repair and unblock all your major and minor chakras. So major are the ones we just did unblock, but we'll repair them now too. But then minor ones, minor chakras are all your other chakras. So more than just your 7 astral and your 7 physical on your spine. All the cool acupuncture points everywhere, those are all minor chakras. You have some larger chakras in bigger energy channels just to keep energy flowing in the channel. You have chakras around every joint. You have chakras, little ones, so you have a lot of energy centers. So just make a composite copy. This is the basic chakra shape, an open cylinder. And so you can make a composite copy chakra. And with your intention, you say, okay, well, this represents all my major and minor chakras. And then you go ahead and repair and unblock and melt cords. And that's how you're repairing and unblocking all your major and minor chakras. And you do have flaps around the round openings. So, you know, they would, if they're irritated, they look like that, except the round opening isn't gold. It varies by the chakra. Hopefully your chakras are rainbow colors. So anyway, but you can have flaps sticking out and that would be an irritated state. So that's not good. So just the more cords you melt, the more you unblock, then the flaps relax and fall shut. So it's a nice smooth round opening. And then your energy can, you know, come and go as it's supposed to through the openings. But it's harder for people to cord you then if the flaps are relaxed and shut. Just like with creative rings. Healthy beverage. Good to stay hydrated. You can lift out, sometimes the chakra is so blocked that it's not properly repairing because there's just so much junk in the way. So you lift out any blocks that are in the way of the repair and just melt them away. Lift out blocks in the way of the repair, melt them away. Lift out blocks in the way of the repair, melt them away. Again, with your intention, you're repairing and unblocking all major and minor chakras of your body and spirit. And the round opening, there's a surface to it. And ideally, it would be like the surface of water. So like kind of ripply and flowy. But it can get very blocked. So it's more like, you know, hard ground, you know, like a asphalt driveway or something, or concrete, but you don't want that. So just like keep unblocking the round openings, melt away the junk. And there could be hard objects stuck in there. So just lift those out and repair so that it's flowy and it's just your energy. And if there are any invasive beings around your chakras or in the way, you can just say, angels, can you please recycle these beings? All right, good enough. So the next section, the sections that we've been doing more or less are the 5 essentials. This is the 5th essential. Good karma windows are back here. So the 5 essentials: grounding, aura repair, creative ring repair, chakra repair, and now this, which is this area back here, but also includes your neck and around your neck. So good karma windows, they're back here. Veterans know this explanation, so you can just start working on them. But they're back here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each one looks like a triple frame window, which this is the basic shape. This is the basic shape of a triple frame window. I think they're called concentric squares. But anyway, it's just a part of your astral body energy system. And I would suggest that you imagine them all, just rather than like making a composite of them. Just imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just comb through them and just use your intuition as you repair and unblock. And you don't want them to feel like all like there's a bunch of cottony pillowy stuff, because that's usually invasive beings or invasive people. So you can just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings here? And keep combing through and just get a sense of each window you want, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You want them to kind of like what I said with your creative rings. It's like when they're working well, when they're repaired and unblocked properly and it's safe there, it's a really beneficial area for you. But if they're all damaged and there's a lot of invasive energy there, it has a big impact in the other way, and it can affect how overwhelmed you feel, or your focus, or your ability to have good sleep even. So they're damaged. They can have hard objects going through them. They can have just junk wrapped around them. And a lot of times the wrapping around them stuff is just some invasive beings or invasive people, and then the energy kind of forms a wrapper around. So you could just imagine your good karma windows, imagine that area and any wrappers, and just imagine, okay, if there are people that creating that wrappers, just with their energy, just melt the cords from those people. Don't send them any energy, just melt the cords from those people. And if they're invasive beings creating those wrappers, just imagine the invasive beings is just saying, angels, can you recycle all those beings? And just keep combing through. You want to, sense the windows and sense that only the good stuff can come through, not the bad stuff. Like the good stuff would be you, basically. Your new energy that you want to bring in, good karma energy from the universe, a gentle energy of like a little bit of like uplifting energy from like the moon and the stars. Just really kind of delicate stuff that comes in, the good stuff. And then the overwhelming stuff is, that's what you don't want. If that comes through, then there's usually some kind of blockage or damage that's allowing it. So you can lift out all the blocks and blow them up, or melt them with gold light. Lift out all the blocks, melt them away. Lift out all the blocks, melt them away. Sometimes you can have energy sitting on top of all the windows, like a ledge of hardness there. So you can just smelt that. Could be a bunch of that, so you maybe take your time. So again, it's like you imagine the windows and then see if there's just junk sitting on top of the windows, like hard objects, dumped energy. Keep unblocking. melt cords going into that stuff, because it's like if somebody dumps something hard there, they could also cord it because they know it's there. So they're very aware it's there. But other people can be cording it too. So just melt cords and then melt the hard stuff. The idea, of course, as always, is you want to be aware of and clear what's healthy and gentle to clear right now. So just feel directly above your good karma windows and just see if there's junk sitting on top of that area. And melt it away. Do you have any invasive beings that are messing with that area or were right before we started healing it? Just imagine them all in a row and just say, angels, can you recycle these beings? So then flow zone is that same area back there, but in your physical body aura. And also flow zone includes your physical body neck and around your physical body neck. So just imagine any hardness. A lot of times there'll be hardness like directly behind the neck in the physical body aura, just like a big chunk of it. So if there is, just surround it in a lot of gold light, melt the cords going into it from other people, and just let it. So again, find any chunks of hardness either in your neck, around your neck, or behind your neck in your physical body aura. And just melt cords going into that hard junk. And then melt the junk away. Any hardness, melt cords going into it. And then melt it. Base of skull points. Oops, not that. There we go. A base of skull point. Should have said base of skull points. So base of skull points meaning acupuncture points. So this diagram here is traditional Chinese medicine meridians. It's a screenshot from a really cool set of videos that I did not make myself, but I use it a lot as reference as an energy healer, and you can too. I will link below. I've linked it a lot, and it's in my list of playlists on my channel, but I will link it below in the comment section. There's a playlist of like the 12 regular meridians, and each one has a minute-long video where it shows the whole route of that particular meridian. And all the dots on the diagram, those are little chakras. So they're shaped this way. And red is a good color for any meridian, any body meridian, and any acupuncture point, minor chakra. Red is a great color. So the base of skull points are the 2 rows of points that you see in the diagram, one at the level of the top of the ear. It's a horizontal line roughly, and then one roughly a horizontal line at the base, at the level of the bottom of the ear there. There are 2 dots in that middle CV meridian in the lower line there. But anyway, just all those dots, so base of skull points back here. And you don't really need to imagine them individually, but you can tend to do more precise work if you think of each one at a time and prepare it one at a time. So these meridians aren't like your major chakras. Your major chakras, they shoot energy out into the aura and they make layers of your auras, right? So your 5th chakra shoots energy out the back, and it becomes your whole fifth layer, which wraps all the way around you, right? But these chakras, they're not like that. They just keep the energy circulating within the meridian itself. So it's more of like a closed system, kind of, in a way. I mean, kind of a simplification. Anyway, so each of those meridians, you can imagine like a red flowy tube, but maybe it's more like black and hard and crusty. But ideally it would look like a red flowy tube. So you just keep using gold light and melt away the hard crustiness until it's a red flowy tube. And the chakras within it, those minor chakras, also ideally would be a red vibration, and they would be unblocked and flowing, opposed to crumpled up and blackened. Gold light to repair them. And your intention, of course, is healthy and gentle. You only want to do what's healthy and gentle, because, you know, if you repair some points on a meridian, it's going to affect the other points on that meridian, and it's also going to affect the other meridians that you know, that flow into or out of that one. And, you know, it's like a whole system of rivers that are interrelated and stuff. It's very cool. But if your intention is you're doing what's healthy and gentle, you should be okay. What's healthy and gentle for you personally at this time? It's a very custom amount. And that one up the midline of the back, that's your CV meridian, starts in the crotch and goes up the midline of the back and ends, I'm sorry, GV, governing vessel meridian, goes up the midline of the back, hooks around, ends roughly in the roof of the mouth. So if you're thinking like, oh, Janet, I don't want to heal all those meridians, that's ridiculous. Just heal that one, that GV one. Because your GV one manages a whole bunch of yang meridians, and so it's got a big job. All right, good enough. That's so ridiculous that all happens at the same time. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to explain again another term that I've made. And then we'll go into doing. This is the stuff that can help sleep. It can help other things too, but its purpose is mainly to help sleep. So I talk a lot about invasive beings, and that's a big catch-all. It just means, you know, beings that are not respectful. They don't have bodies. It's not like a human being spirit. They tend to be much, much smaller and less powerful than you are. And they just, you know, have nothing better to do than hang out in your energy field if they can get there and take some energy. And, you know, whatever. They're, you know, the angels will recycle them for you if you ask. And so that's nice. And, but, you know, they tend to get in the way of repair and unblocking and, you know, so we ask a lot to get them out of the way and have angels recycle them. And that's pretty much, you know, the best thing for them, because you just kick them out of your space and they can't get back in your space, they'll try, but if they can't, then they'll just find somebody else to pick on. So, it's kind of nice to just say, angels, can you recycle them? That way, those particular individual invasive beings won't bother anybody else, right? But there's a different kind of being that I've been aware of on and off for a while, but more so recently. And I'm going to call them rude observer beings. And rude is a judgment technically, so it's not maybe the ideal term, but it kind of makes me smile. So that's fine, because if it's sort of tickles your sense of humor, then that's good energy, because it's just more, lighthearted, and that's good, so you won't get stuck about it. So rude observer beings. The reason I say rude observer beings, I could just call them observer beings, right? But they're to observe, like as a clairvoyant reader, you can observe yourself, you can observe other people, you can read people and their energy without interfering with them in any way. And it's not bad karma, to just, for example, if you wanted to see if, like your neighbors, how do they feel about, something that you texted them, if you stay present and, and you're experienced enough, it's possible to read their reaction to something without, you're not getting in their head or anything. You're just kind of being a reader. And so being a reader is technically being an observer in a way, so I wanted to qualify, and these are rude observer beings. These are not like it's not like if you're just a reader and you're respectfully observing others. And as a respectful reader, there are things that are probably none of your business, and so, you work with your angels to see if it's okay to look at what you're looking at, because you want to allow people some level of privacy and, all that. So there are sort of, I guess, ethics that go with being a clairvoyant reader. And the angels, help with abilities. And so if you, use your abilities for your self-healing and in an ethical way, and you're not using your abilities to harm somebody else or to interfere with their privacy, then, I think the angels help you more, and if you use your abilities for something that's negative, I think there's bad karma associated with that, and so it's like good to be mindful of, some level of ethics about what you're doing. But anyway, so these rude observer beings, they're not human being spirits like you and me. They're just, beings that don't have bodies, and generally beings that don't have bodies. And they're not human being spirits, and they can interfere with people's sleep, sometimes very noticeably so. Sometimes not in a way that the person is like truly disturbed. Maybe they just can't get to sleep for a while, or they just don't sleep as deeply or something. So, and these observer beings, they observe, but they interfere as they're observing. Like, so they may, mess with your sleep and then watch your reaction to it. So these are not like, evolved like angels or so. Angels would never do that, So rude observer beings, you can ask your angels to recycle them, just like any invasive being. The reason I don't call them just invasive beings that mess with sleep is because in general, invasive beings, they steal your energy. Like, they take energy, that's why they want to hang out in your space. Whereas an observer being, they just kind of observe. I mean, they observe in a rude way in that they're causing strife, perhaps, maybe triggering fear or triggering your daily stresses on purpose, to see how you react to it. So it's definitely interfering with you. But they're not taking energy. So that makes them different. They're not about like stealing energy at all. But it's kind of like, they remind me of like, maybe like a cat that might observe like a bug or something in the house, and they don't kill it. They just kind of watch it, and then they kind of mess with it a little and they watch it some more, So observer beings are like that. They kind of can mess with people and their sleep, and make their sleep less restful or make it hard for the person to sleep, but they're not taking energy or harming, like they're not doing chakra damage and that kind of stuff. It's more subtle. So anyway, but they can be recycled, so that's fine. And I think if you don't know about them, then you might not realize. So that's it. So what we're gonna do is just have you could also call them sleep disturbing beings, any sleep disturbing beings whatsoever. But I think brood observer beings is kind of, I don't know, I like it. It's a cool term. And it is a sort of a subsection of, riffraff that totally can be recycled and it's easy to do. And you can also sort of declare you can have the angels set up your home and your property as what I call a no-fly zone, where, and I've used this term before, but not probably for a while, where that way rude observer beings can't come on your property, which I prefer. But if you have other adults that you live with in the home and they have kind of, maybe they have a lot of fears or a lot of superstitions or a lot of, kind of, they're not as careful spiritually. Sometimes those people may get rid of, subconsciously, may get rid of that sort of no-fly zone situation that you have. So that's something to be aware of. Like if you have an adult in your home that is like that, you could just have like a no-fly zone around you, specifically you, or like say if you sleep in a different room than that person, have a no-fly zone that's just for your room where you sleep, whatever room it is that you sleep in. So it's two things that we'll be doing. We'll be just having any observer beings recycled that are at all interested in you. And then we'll have them cleaned out of your sleeping area and out of your property if that's possible. So if you live in a condo building and there are other units and stuff, you can just ask the angels to do any of it, and they may not be able to set up a whole no-fly zone for your whole condo building property. But if all the condo residents agree on a spirit level, which the angels will handle surveying everybody and seeing, but it could be that everyone agrees to that. I mean, because it helps sleep, and a lot of people, maybe they don't care about their own sleep, but they care about their kids' sleep, and, they have young kids at home, or, so you never know. It's all subconscious, but the angels take care of all this stuff. So hopefully that makes sense, and it's not like something spooky. It's just, again, these beings are way less malevolent than what we normally deal with, when we have invasive beings recycled. So these ones are just kind of punks that that like watching and messing with things and observing the reaction. So that's why I'm calling them rude observer beings. But I hope you can take the term in its sort of its light sense rather than like getting all judgy about it, because when you're judgy, then you lose boundaries, so whatever. If it feels too judgy and heavy for you to call them rude observer beings, you could call them sleep interfering beings. That's fine too. Whatever causes you to just have, more lightness and flow about the concept and not to freak out is a good thing. All right. So easier done than said, as usual. So let's do the doing part. Okay, cool. So first doing is imagine yourself like sleeping, just don't sleep now. And if you're driving, I would not recommend this when you're driving, because some people do all sorts of energy work when they drive, and I don't know, that's your call, but this is probably less safe for driving situations. So anyway, you imagine you know, like your bed or wherever you're sleeping, if you sleep in a chair or a bed or whatever. And so your physical body, just imagine as if you're like half asleep, you know, and then your spirit body, your astral body, which is you. Imagine like if you're groggy, you know, and you're like just kind of half asleep, or, you know, like right before you're awake, you know, and you're aware and you're half awake, you know. So imagine your astral body above your physical body, as if, you know, you're getting sleepy and you're like spacing out a little, you know, so they're separate. And then just imagine any rude observer beings. You can imagine them however you want. You can make them a funny color, whatever just keeps it lighter and less spooky, you know? Like you can imagine them like little cartoon characters or whatever, or a bunch of little like dust balls, whatever you want to imagine them as. But anyway, you can, any rude observer beings, just imagine some visual representation of them and just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? And then just breathe while your angels do the work for you. And we'll just do that same thing a few times. That's basically as hard as it gets. So again, imagine your body as you're ready to sleep, and then your astral body, imagine it slightly above, as if you're like sleepy and groggy, and then imagine any rude observer beings. Maybe you can imagine them around you, but you can just move them off to the side, you know, and imagine them that way, and just say, angels, can you recycle any rude observer beings that are interfering with my sleep in any way, or have ever interfered with my sleep in any way, or have any plans to interfere with my sleep in any way. And some of you don't have this, so, you know, if there aren't any, there aren't any. It's okay. And then you can ask your angels, you know, angels, can you make, you know, the location I sleep in as safe as possible? You know, angels, can you clean out the room I sleep in? You know, and you can do half of it too, you know, meet your angels kind of halfway. You know, imagine the room that you're sleeping in and just lots of gold light. You know, you can do a tricolor earth energy soak for the room that you normally sleep in. You know, bring up red earth energy straight from the core of the earth, soak the room. Bring up orange earth energy straight from the core of the earth, soak the room in orange earth energy, comb through with gold light. Bring up yellow earth energy from the core of the earth straight into that room and soak the whole room with yellow earth energy and comb through with gold light. And again, you know, you imagine your physical body, your astral body, and then just imagine, you know, any rude observer beings that are maybe far away but connected to you or actually around you. I just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? And if you sleep in the same room with somebody else or several somebody else's, somebody adults, kids, that's not gonna, like, you don't have to make the agreement with them. But if you sleep in the room with other adults, you know, you can telepathically ask them now and say, hey, you know, I'd like to make this room energetically safe so we can both sleep better. Or, you know, if there are 3 adults sleeping in the room where you are, whatever, you know, just say, hey guys, you know, how about we have the angels make this room safer so we can all sleep better? You know, and see if you get a yes from all of them. If you sleep with other people in the room, other adults. If it's just you, you don't have to do that step. And then you just say, angels, can you please make this room, you know, as safe as possible for sleeping? You know, make it a no-fly zone. And you can say too for the whole property, you know, the house and the whole property. Or, you know, if it's an apartment building, just ask your angels to do it. Do not comb through an entire apartment building where other people live. But just, you know, angels, can you please make this this home and this building and this property a no-fly zone so that it's as safe as possible for sleeping. And just keep breathing. And, you know, it's possible that that triggered some kind of childhood fears or something, just discussing that. We could just do like a STEBs thing, you know, like just pile up any energy blocks that got triggered by talking about sleep and sleep observer beings and, you know, whatever. So just pile up any energy blocks that are triggered, any fear, anxiety, frustration, stress, you know, about sleep issues, and just pile them all up and soak them with red earth energy from the core of the earth, melt cords going into this sleep related baggage. And go ahead and you could blow up your pile of sleep related baggage or just melt it with gold light. And again, you can put another pile out in front of you, any sleep related baggage that maybe got triggered by our discussion or just that you have in general. And bring up red earth energy, soak your sleep related baggage in the red earth energy, use gold light to melt cords going into your sleep related baggage from other people. And then just use lots of gold light and melt away and or blow up your sleep related baggage. This can be baggage that causes nightmares too. You know, like recurring unpleasant dreams, or not recurring, but just unpleasant. You know, like say you may have baggage that, you know, so you may have like recurring nightmares that you're late for something or that you're unprepared for something, or, you know, like people tend to have, you know, themes, unexpected, unpleasant things, yeah, unexpected, unpleasant surprises, you know, whatever. So just pile up any sort of nightmare baggage, any baggage that can cause nightmares or unpleasant sleep or unpleasant dreams, and just bring up red earth energy, gold light, and melts that junk away. So again, any nightmare creating baggage that could give you nightmares in the future that you have already, just pile it up out in front of you, bring up red earth energy, soak it in gold light, melt the cords, and melt the blocks. All right, if you have any leftover sleep-related baggage, nightmare-related baggage, just give it to your angels. Angels, can you help me with this? All right, good job. Woo, 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 woo. So that was a couple things. We had angels recycle brood observer beings. And then we did the no-fly zone request from the angels, for the angels to create no-fly zones. So that your sleeping area and even the property that you sleep in around in the property that you sleep on is as safe as possible for sleep. And then we also cleared sleep baggage, including nightmare baggage, nightmare creating baggage. All right, good job. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, cool. So I already explained this before the healing started. So if you missed that, you want to learn more, you can listen to that. And I'll take my glasses off for this. in case I'm gesturing here a lot. So we're gonna it's basically a lot of unblocking, like melting away of hard pieces of energy. If in front of your sinuses mostly, but also in your sinus cavities and your nasal cavities, but a lot in front, right in front, in like first and second aura layers of your astral body and physical body aura. So you don't have to think about which layer it's in, it's just in front here. And that's what I call the mask, is because it's in front. So it can be in front of your whole face, including forehead, or just like, just your eyes and your sinuses, or just your sinuses, whatever. So we'll alternate and do like astral and physical. We'll just go back and forth. So you just imagine like you could do it this way if you want, right on yourself, okay, your astral body, and just like lift off something and give it to the angels. But I tend to like doing copies out in front, but it's up to you. So you imagine a copy of like your, we could do physical first, but we'll go back and forth. So physical head, and then just comb through your physical eyes and just lift out from in front of you, lift out like a hard plate of energy, give it to your angels, here you go. You can just imagine like a whole bunch of plates of energy in front of your face and your eyes and your sinuses on your physical body. So all the sort of mask blocks right here in front of your physical body. And the angels, can you recycle any invasive beings at all connected to this junk, or behind or around all this junk? So that way, once the invasive beings are gone, it's a lot less trippy. It's pretty simple to just lift out the blocks, and then you could melt cords going into it and just melt it all away. So find some more blocks there. Again, physical body right in front of the face, front of the forehead. These are the sinuses if you need to see. Okay, my glasses. Let's so, comb through your sinuses. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings in or around my sinuses, can you please recycle them? And just see if you have hard objects, hard blocks of energy in your physical sinuses, and just that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. And just lift them out. And you can melt them with lots of gold light. Lift out any hard blocks in your sinuses. Give them to your angels. Angels, here you go. And we can do a little bit. Check your grounding though. You want to make sure, because like when you unblock, then it's like you can come in more, but sometimes it's kind of drastic. So you're like, whoa! It's like all of a sudden like jumping into a pool or something. It's kind of like, whoa. So it's a good thing, but you want to be able to stay really present and solid, so you can just run gold light through all your major chakras along your spine. And then comb through your grounding, make sure both physical and astral body groundings are nice and wide and flowing. You could do like a tricolor soak, bring up red earth energy, bring up orange earth energy all the way up, bring up yellow earth energy all the way up, soak your whole energy system all the way up to the top of your aura. Yellow earth energy. So astral body, same thing. Be aware of your astral body head and your astral body sinuses and in front of there. And say, angels, if there are any invasive beings at all connected to this area, at all interested in this area, can you please recycle them? Again, astral body, your astral body, which is the part of you that can come into your physical body fully, ideally fully. So imagine your astral body head, and comb through your sinuses, your eyes, and just lift out, comb through your aura right in front of your astral body head, your astral body aura, and just comb through and just lift out the hard junk that's good to get rid of right now. Give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. You find a whole bunch more hard junk, like astral sinus masks or face masks, however you want to call them. And just lift out the hardness. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings at all connected to this hardness or around it, can you please recycle them? And you can melt cords going into the hardness from other people. A lot of times that's all it needs to like clear really easily is first you melt the cords of people from people going into these hard chunks. And then you can lift out the chunks and melt them away or lift them out and hand them to your angels. Angels, here you go. Again, take some time to, you know, just because it's a big shift potentially doing this. So it's good, but you know, it can be kind of like, whoa, at first. So just take a second, you know, maybe do hips and shoulders a little bit, you know, unblock in and around. You can like imagine like a profile and just imagine around your hips and around your shoulders and just unblock more. If there are any invasive beings messing with your sinuses and or hips and shoulders, the angels can recycle these beings. So again, around the sinuses, in the astral body head. So just imagine the hardness like a mask, sinus mask or face mask in front of your face of your astral body head. And just say, angels, if there are any invasive beings connected to all this, can you please recycle them? And then just melt cords from this hardness to other people, melt away those cords. And then lift all that junk out. You can melt it away or blow it up. So astral body face, any mask like pressed up against, any hardness pressed up against your astral body face. Just get a sense of that. Surround it in gold light. Melt cords going into it from other people. The angels, if there are any invasive beings connected to this junk, can you please recycle those beings? And just lift all that junk out. Give it to your angels. Angels, here. Again, you know, maybe comb upward above your head and below your head, below your feet. Sorry. Above your head and below your feet. Keep things flowing enough. The sphenoid bone is in there. I don't have a good diagram yet of the sphenoid bone. I should get one because I'm totally in love with that bone. But the sphenoid bone is in your head. It goes behind your eyes. It's like you can touch part of it. It's like around the sides of your head. And then it goes behind your eyes. And it's got this cool looking shape. But anyway, you can just bring up red earth energy and ground your sphenoid bone. And you can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings anywhere near my sphenoid bone or connected to my sphenoid bone in any way, can you please recycle them? You do have sphenoid sinus cavities. So they're in this diagram that I'm showing that it looks like a little red bean right under me. It says sphenoid sinus. So it's just, there's one on each side and it's just a little cavity there that has, you know, that mucous membrane lining, and it's one of your sinuses that drains into your nasal cavity, just like all the sinuses. It's good to be there. It's good to be in your whole sphenoid bone. And you can uncord anybody that's corded to your sphenoid bone. And you can just comb up and down your spine. So that's probably enough for now of that. Oh, good job. Good job. Oops, my camera's all out of focus. There we go. Very nice. So that was clearing sinus masks from your astral body and physical body energy system. How about that? You can take a deep breath, see how your sinuses feel. And like I mentioned in the intro discussion section, the food you eat also has an effect on your sinuses too. So if you know, you can observe how your body reacts to the food that you eat. A lot of times there'll be a day delay. So if you feel like your body really changed in a negative direction one day, think of what did you eat the day before and see if there's any, use your intuition, see if any of that food might have contributed to how you're feeling. All right, so I am going to look for a minute at a sample person or two to see what we should do next in the healing. So I'll be quiet for a minute as I do that. Can't get enough of that confetti. Okay. So, this next section that we're going to do, falls under proactive clearing, but also just dealing with the present too. And it has to do with resolving inner conflict, that may be subconscious or maybe conscious. I always feel like inner conflict that's conscious is more annoying. It's like sometimes it can block you from making a decision because you're like, well, if you look at it this way, then this, but if you look at it this way, and so inner conflict doesn't mean you hate yourself or anything. It just could mean like an inner disagreement where you really are like kind of ambivalent about something, not in that you don't care, but that you care but can't make up your mind. So this will help that too. But proactive clearing in that you can have inner conflict regarding the next chapter in your life or some future event or situation. Like there could be a part of you that really wants to be proactive and start clearing for an event or a situation that is developing already and will definitely be an issue in the future. And so part of you is like, we really need to deal with this. It would be so much easier if we could just journal and meditate about this. Use the Janet video. Come on, let your angels help you in your sleep. And the other parties are just like, no, 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 no. I don't want to deal with that right now. I have so much on my plate and I have too much already. And so that's an example, a dramatization of an inner conflict that may be conscious, but oftentimes it's subconscious. And so there could be a little part of you that's like, no, no, no. Or it could be most of you that's like, no, no, no. And the part of you that really does want to be proactive and start thinking about and planning for something you've completely walled off. And you're like, that is not happening and it's not me and I'm not thinking about it. And either way, I would call all that inner conflict. And it, within reason, usually the more you clear and process, the better. Obviously, everyone has limits that are real. But, we'll let the angels help so that you're not doing too much. There is such a thing as dealing with too much at once, but oftentimes... if you could just resolve the inner conflicts that you're having about processing something, then processing would be actually pretty easy and almost instantaneous. It's just the part of you that's like kicking and screaming and going, no, 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 life is so hard already. It's like making it all way more dramatic than it has to be. It's like usually clearing something is way easier than not clearing it and dealing with it, kind of stuck in your space. So I'm looking forward to this, even on personal levels. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing. It's just a bunch of baggage clearing, but it's like very specific. We're going to hunt for subconscious or conscious situations where there's an inner conflict within you about, making a decision or dealing with something or processing it. And again, we'll have the angels pick and double check so that we're not clearing stuff that's too much. All right. So pat yourself on the back. You can do it. Good job. You're amazing already for even just being about to do it. Okay, cool. So we'll do present first, okay? And so just imagine parts of you that are battling each other. And so this is not you battling someone in your life. This is you and you. Okay. Those inner conflict stuff. Because if we could all get rid of all the inner conflict, the external conflict would be way easier to handle. So Just imagine a part of you that's conscious and a part of you that's subconscious, or it could be just two subconscious parts of you that disagree. But just imagine parts of you that disagree, whatever. They could be conscious or subconscious, right? And they could be like, one's like, no, no, no. One's like, we really need to deal with this, and just, you can imagine several little pairs of battling parts of you, or just one pair at a time, whatever feels better for you. And just say, angels, is it okay to work this right now? So that your angels will whisk away something that's too much. And then just give these parts of you healings, these battling parts of you. So you can do like a tricolor soak, bring up red earth energy, bring up orange earth energy, bring up yellow earth energy, and lots of gold light. And you can just make baggage piles in the middle of these warring parts of you, and just imagine the baggage that's causing the denial or the resistance or the judgment or the confusion, and just melt the baggage. And then again, heal these warring parts of you, or these parts of you that can't decide or are in conflict with each other. And melt everybody else out of these parts of you with gold light. Just melt cords going into these parts of you. And once the conflicts really go away and it's no longer two parts of you battling, you should see like the energy kind of pixelate and you just get it back. So it's not individual warring parts of you anymore. And if you have any left over that just won't kiss and make up, parts of you that won't agree or feel so differently still, just hand those parts to your angels and say, angels, can you help me with it? So then let's do proactive, the proactive part where we're dealing with parts of you that are in conflict regarding the next chapter in your life. Or it doesn't have to be the next chapter, it could just be tomorrow or next week. But so imagine parts of you that are battling each other or in disagreement or in conflict about the next chapter in your life or something in the future for you. And again, you don't have to know what it is. Doesn't matter really. But just imagine these parts of you that are disagreeing, and you can just imagine two disagreeing parts, or just like 10 of them, 10 sets of disagreeing parts of you, whatever you want. And say, angels, is it okay to work all this at the same time? So they'll remove something if it's too much. And then just use gold light, and you can do a tricolor soak with these disagreeing parts of you, conflicted parts of you. Bring up red earth energy, bring up orange earth energy, bring up yellow earth energy. You can imagine the baggage that causes these parts of you to battle, either the resistance or the shame or the avoidance or the judgment or whatever, frustration baggage, and just pile up the baggage in between these parts of you and say, angels, is it okay to clear all this? And go ahead and melt it all away. Hold light. Or blow it up. And if there are any cords going into these parts of you, you can melt those. If there are any invasive beings messing with these parts of you, you can just imagine them like clouds and just say, angels, can you recycle all these beings? So, and as these little conflicted parts of you make up and start to agree, and the confusion and the disagreement and the avoidance goes away, then these little separate parts of you will just come back to you. You'll get your energy back. They won't be in conflict. So if some of them aren't, that it's just not resolving yet, that's fine. You can just give them to your angels and say, angels, can you help me with this? Couple deep breaths. Okay, good job. Okay, acronym soup here. But I did explain this in the intro before the healing, so I'll be brief here. It's just unmatched. Global pain is UGP. Unmatched national pain is UNP. Unmatched family pain is UFP. And unmatched group pain, for example, a group of friends that you have, or a group of like you and your work colleagues, or you and your work clients, business customers, any group you wish you can do this with. So let's just do UGP first, unmatched global pain. So what you're doing is you're just clearing your own blocks, but you're intuitively selecting the blocks of yours that are a little too similar to everyone else on the planet. And so it just puts you like on this pain train with everybody. It's like, you tend to like match the pain vibration that they have, and it makes it harder for you to clear and just be separate and set your own vibrations. So just make a big pile out in front of you of all your global pain matches, anything that you are in pain about or you're stuck about that is a little too similar to most people on the planet. You can say, angels, is it okay? Is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? That way your angels will get rid of what's too much to do right now. And so all the rest is okay and healthy and gentle to clear right now. So you can just use cold light, melt everybody out of your baggage, and let the baggage, you could blow it up or just let it melt away. And if any of it didn't clear, just give it to your angels. Say, angels, can you help me with this? So we'll do each of these twice in a row. So unmatched global pain, again, just put out in front of you any baggage that you have that's a little too similar to most people on the planet. And just say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? Is it healthy and gentle? That way they'll take away what's too much, and then you could just blow up what's left, or just melt the cords going into it first and then let it melt away all that baggage. All right, good job. So UNP is especially nice in, to clear election baggage or political boundaries with people and all that stuff. But for other reasons too, you might find that just people in the country that you're living in, or the country, like people travel. So it could be the country you're currently in. You don't want to match their pain. So just same thing, just put out in front of you energy blocks that are a little too similar to everyone in a certain country. And just, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? And then just use gold light and melt it all away. Or blow it up. Okay, so one more time. Just UNP, unmatched national pain. So again, it's just your energy blocks that are in your space. You can put them out in front of you, the ones that are too similar to everyone else in a certain country. And just say, angels, is it okay to clear all this right now? And then use lots of gold light, melt away, melt everyone else out of this baggage, melt the cords, blow it all up, just let it melt. If any of it's still there, say, angels, can you help me with this? Okay, so then UFP is especially good for this month because we're family boundaries is part of what we're doing this month. So just make a big pile out in front of you any baggage that you have that's a little too similar to other people in your family. You don't have to know what it is, just put it out in front of you, just intuitively or with your intention. Select that baggage that's too similar to other people in your family, so it creates a boundaries problem. And then say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then just use gold light and melt all that away. You can melt cords going into it from everybody. Wash everybody out of the pile. Let the pile melt away. Okay, and then UGrP is for unmatched group pain. And that's really very versatile. You know, it could be like, you know, say you're on a work retreat with a bunch of coworkers. This would be a great time to, you know, unmatch their pain so that there's not a lot of subconscious cording, which is very common. But also, you know, if you need more boundaries with your work colleagues or work customers or your friend group, personal friend group. So anyway, you could do all groups at the same time if you want, or if you have one individually, you can keep working that. But anyway, so just put out in front of you copies of all your baggage that's a little too similar to other people in your groups, let's say. And then say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then melt cords going into this baggage. Bring up red earth energy, soak it, and wash everybody out of this baggage. And just let the baggage melt away or blow it up. We'll do that one more time. Unmatched group pain. So just put out in front of you copies of any baggage you have that's too similar to other people in the groups you're in. Your friend group, your work group, whatever. So, and then you got your big pile of baggage. And just say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? And then go ahead and melt cords going into this pile. Bring up red earth energy, soak the pile, wash everybody out of the pile. And just let the baggage melt away, or you could blow it up. And of course, if any of it's left over, it's not clearing, just give it to your angels. Say, angels, can you help me with this? Right. Good job. Woo, 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 woo. So double check your grounding. And comb through your aura and different spots. All right, good enough. Okay, great. So we're almost done with the healing. But one thing I wanted to do, you just felt like I was looking at a sample person and she's a little triggered by election results in the US, and especially like little wounded inner child parts of her are especially disturbed by the election results. So inner child healing is always a fantastic idea. But I think as a way to be as healthy and empowered as possible, in the face of, big political shifts, could be a nice thing to do. So just imagine any wounded inner child parts of you that are triggered by election results or politics or any other event in your life right now. So any inner child parts of you that would be good for you to heal right now. And you can just imagine little inner child parts of you. So like mini child versions of you that need healing. And imagine them at enough distance out in front of you that you're not disturbed by how they feel. You're separate. You're like the cool healer that's going to help them out. You don't have to match what they're going through, right? You're going to help them. So you just imagine these wounded inner child parts of you that are triggered by the election or by other stresses that you have in your life, right? And just you could do a tricolor soak with these parts of you first. Just red earth energy, soak them all in red earth energy straight up from the core of the earth, and then bring that down, soak them all in orange earth energy straight up from the core of the earth. And then bring that down and soak all these parts of you in yellow earth energy. Bring it straight up from the core of the earth, yellow earth energy. And just lots of gold light. And you can talk in like a comforting tone to these parts of you. Be like, hey, it's all right. It's okay. I'm all grown up now. And, I'm ready for any of this. I'm safe. You can maybe tell these inner child parts of you something that's cool about your life now, like something that would be cheerful for a kid, like, hey, guess what? My boobs got bigger, or like, guess what? Big boobs don't matter so much anymore. Or, whatever, like, guess what? I have my own bank account. Or guess what? I could eat anything I want. May not be good to encourage your inner child on those lines. But, or guess what? Nobody tells me what to do anymore. Keep healing these parts of you. You can say, angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? And if any of those parts of you have not already healed, usually when these parts of you heal, then you get the energy back. They're not like separate wounded parts of you anymore. But if you still have a few of them left, you can just say, angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? And if there are any invasive beings that are messing with these parts of you or invasive people, just wash out the people out of these parts of you. And if there are any invasive beings, you can see them like a bunch of clouds and just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are messing with these parts of me? All right, good job. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so now we'll wrap up the healing. We'll do just little quick things. So just imagine a copy of all of you out in front of you. Your 17 auras and your physical body and your astral body are inside there. And then your 2 groundings nice and wide all the way down to the core of the earth. One for your physical body energy system and one for your astral body energy system. Oops. And empty unprocessed stress pots is what that USP thing is there in the banner. USPs, unprocessed stress pots. So you just imagine out in front of you a whole bunch of pots that represent your ability to process stressful events or things that just take time for you to deal with, right? And you want all your pots to be empty, meaning that you're not backed up on any processing. Because if you're really backed up on processing, it just gives you this sense of like everything's too much. And then if something new happens, then it's like too much. So you don't want that, right? So if you just melt away with gold light any of the contents of your unprocessed stress pots, you're catching up on processing all your stress. So sometimes people have pots that they like, it's behind a wall or a curtain. They're like, I don't want to know. But just make sure you get those too, and just melt away the curtain and melt away the whatever's in the unprocessed stress pots. You might have to uncord people from your unprocessed stress pots. And this is something, by the way, you know, people could do if they're around relatives during the holiday or any sort of stressful experience. You could do this as often as you need to, you know, just keep emptying your unprocessed stress pots. Just lots of gold light, just catch up on all the processing. And if they're not emptying, then just melt cords. Somebody's cording you and cording the pots. So just melt it all the way so they're nice and empty. That way you're ready for anything. You're ready for new stuff, even stuff that is kind of big and you can't process it away right away. You still have like all your pots are empty and ready, so you can cope with something. All right, so that's empty unprocessed stress pots. So then clearing STEBs we've done already. We did it right at the start of the healing after grounding in that grounding section. So let's do it again. So you just, anything that's still triggered, that's irritating you on any level, just put that out in front of you, copies of energy blocks that are still triggered in your space. And we call them stubborn, you know, stubborn triggered energy blocks because they're still uncleared. And usually they're stubborn and uncleared because people are cording them. So just melt the cords going into these blocks from other people or from you. And wash everybody out of these blocks. And then usually they'll just melt away automatically after that, but you may have to blow up the pile, which is also fun. So that's a plus. And do that one more time. Just any other energy blocks that you still have that are triggered on any level, subconscious or conscious, anything that's bothering you. Just pile up the energy blocks, bring up red earth energy, soak them in that, use gold light, melt cords going into them from anybody, melt everybody out of the piles and blow them up or just let them melt away. And we can also uncord backlash people. So backlash people are people that tend to throw energy. I'll just say BP, uncord BP, backlash people. So imagine you and imagine just a big row of anybody that is likely to throw stuff at you energy-wise. And don't do anything to them. Don't even talk to them. Right now, just sort of let them be. But just check for cords in between you and those people. And they could be really tiny and hard to notice, but that's fine. Just with your intuition, just melt them all away. Don't send the gold light towards those people. Just the cords go into your baggage. So melt the baggage and melt the cords by using gold light throughout your space and just outside your space. So again, this is Uncord Backlash People. And so you just imagine the backlash people, whoever they are, you don't have to worry about who they are, if they're coworkers or relatives or whatever. And just imagine you and them and melt all the cords. And you can also use a gold magnet and an angel-assisted gold magnet, which we did a lot. I believe it was in the very triplets that we just finished. So earlier this month in the same playlist, November 2024 playlist. So an angel-assisted gold magnet is just some gold 3D object that your intentions, with your intention, you're like, okay, this is a magnet. I'm going to use it to call back my energy. But it's angel-assisted. You ask the angels to help you do it, help, you know, this magnet to call your energy back in a way that's like diplomatic, if that's necessary. So say like you have so much of your energy in somebody's space, calling it all back in one instant might disrupt that person to the point where they whack you, you know, which is like, it's not so helpful, you know, to be whacked. You know, you want your energy back though, right? So the angel assisted magnet just helps with the diplomacy aspect of that, and you know, maybe calls it back over a half hour if it's so much energy in somebody's space. That way they're not disturbed by you getting your energy back, and it'll help them too anyway. So your angel assisted gold magnet, call your energy back using that. Just angels help me do this. And then just call back a whole bunch of your energy with your gold magnet, and just say, angels, can you clean this off for me? And then give your energy back to yourself. So one more time, angel assisted gold magnet, just say, angels, can you help me? And use it to call back your energy in a diplomatic way. So you get your energy back. And say, angels, can you clean off all this energy? And then give it back to yourself. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so as we wrap up, just say, angels, can you help me wrap up this healing? Angels, can you help me to have healthy family boundaries? Angels, can you help me to proactive clearing for this and the next chapter of my life? All righty. What a rock star you are. All right. So good job. Good job. Woohoo. That's a healing. You're amazing. Ah! Yay. All right. So I'm going to look through some chat comments. If you have comments about how this healing was for you, whether you healed yourself or I healed you, you could post those if you wish. If you have any comments about the themes, family boundaries, proactive clearing, about our other themes that we did, sinuses and sleep, you could comment. I'm going to try to get through the comments pretty fast, so I'll have like my timer go off every 10 minutes so I'm aware of them. So if it's sort of like a read my life story question, I would say don't post that right now. You can post that under any video at any time. But if you can be brief, I would be happy to see your comment right now. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna do my little 10-minute set a time timer. Oh, and also I'm gonna get up for a second because I want to put on something. Usually I heat up when I do a healing, so I kind of underdress for the healing, but I didn't heat up today, so I'm chilly now. It's just like a couple feet in either direction, like a hoodie and some fingerless gloves. So I'm gonna get up for a second, get that, and I'll sit right back down. So bear with me. We're having a wardrobe adjustment. Okay, thanks for waiting. Wardrobe adjustment. All righty. Let's see, I'm looking for comments I haven't read yet. Someone says, thanks for the political talk. The day after the election, my angels reminded me to find my inner peace, and that has really helped me. Oh, good for you. Someone says hello, and very pretty emojis. Thank you. I love how you're explaining this. Well, thank you. I'm glad it helps. Good to see you. Someone says hello. Good to see you. Someone says thank you for the healing. Good to see you. cool emojis. I'm not sure what they are. There's a fish and a something. Oh, what are those emojis? They look cool. One looks like a fish, but the first one, I have no idea what that is. You could let me know if you want. Someone says, hello from Slovenia. Hello to you. Hello, hello, hello. I'm glad you're watching. I do 5 of these live streams every month, big healings. If you want to be healed during the live stream, like if you want me to heal you during the live stream, you need to purchase one of the sets, which you could do on my website. But if you want to just watch and heal yourself as you watch, you're totally welcome to do that. And the schedule of all the healings is on my website, jwhealing.com. And the next healing is in 2 days. And that will be the final one of the month that I'm doing. So 2 days would be Tuesday, the 19th of November, 2024. Okay, someone says, thanks for the healing, Janet. Feeling okay. Loved the inner conflict and inner child work. Oh, cool. For whatever reason, this whole set has made me feel kind of muted. I just realized this. What's up there? How am I doing with it? Then you have more. See, this is along the lines of life story. These multiple questions here. So I will, well, I'll read through it, but anyway, your first one though, you say that this whole set has made me feel kind of muted. I just realized this was up there. I think the thing is, usually you have like a lot of anxiety that distracts you. So I think the muted is like a little bit of actual serenity that you're not recognizing as serenity. There's sort of an absence of anxiety and a little bit more presence in certain areas you're not used to being in, like your sinuses and stuff. So, the lack of motivation and sort of passion, I think, is something that you could work, with your 4th chakra, mostly 4th layer, especially in the back. You could unblock that more. And just work your 4th so that it's generating enough energy. Because I don't think your 4th generates enough energy right now. Physical 4th chakra. But I think part of it is just serenity that you're not recognizing and an absence of anxiety that you're not recognizing as such. But anyway, okay. Hope that helps. Then you say, how am I doing with job changes move? That's way too big for now because I already read something for you. I felt unmotivated to apply for jobs when I look at the election has been a distraction. Yeah. So you could post something into our video or just work on it on your own for a while because, yeah. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Please let me know how. And then you mention your friends that also got the healing, how they did with the healing. They all did great. Your sister liked the inner child healing the most. Your friend, one of your friends, like she's not quite looking forward on her path. She just kind of looks around a lot. The healing helped her. But I think it's like the election and stuff. She just gets kind of disoriented when there are a lot of people that are upset that she's aware of. Hard for her to just like kind of be like, okay, well, they're upset, but I don't have to be upset. Like that's kind of that idea of mental and emotional boundaries is kind of a new concept for her. She's definitely going to work with it more with her angels, and her angels do like, especially the unmatched global pain, unmatched national pain, unmatched group pain, unmatched all that kind of stuff. But they just feel like it's sort of something she's not especially good at yet. The other friend that sort of has a name that reminds you of like moon and stars and stuff, she inner child healing was her favorite by far. She really liked that. She did like the sinus mask stuff, but the inner child stuff she really liked. But they all did great. Someone says, thank you. I was cleaning my kitchen during the healing, go you, and got super overwhelmed. Felt like I was making no progress and was making more of a mess. Well, you know, cleaning your kitchen is kind of a, you know, kitchens and mom baggage and being a mom baggage and having a mom baggage. There's people get triggered a lot in their kitchens. Felt like I was making no progress. I was making more of a mess. I started feeling like this once we started with inner conflict healing. I took a drive, but now dreading going back home to finish. Feeling like I ran away from my problems. Angel advice on what may help. That's very funny. Yeah. I think that people can visit you in your home, okay? And sometimes it's not people that you want to visit in your home. You know, like an example of something you might want is, say you have a heaven friend. I call them heaven friends. People that were friends of yours or loved ones of yours that you really care about and you got along with, and now they're in heaven and they can visit you. And that can be really fun and comforting. What I get for underdressing for a healing in November. But anyway, so long story short, I think it's just that your kitchen is not your kitchen. A lot of people typically visit you in your kitchen that you don't want to visit. They're not heaven people. I'm gonna have to get hot water. Sorry, I'll be right back. Okay, I think the hot water will help. I had hot water, but it cooled off too much. If you cough and it's not a sore throat, it's like a scratchy throat, that is typically cold in your throat. Like a Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, they'll be like, oh, you have heat or you have cold. You're trapped there. You can get wind also trapped there. I'm going to blow my nose for a sec, but I'll mute it and then unmute it. So I'm going to mute for a sec. Okay. So anyway, that was an example. What you just saw is me getting cold in my throat because I underdressed for a 2-hour healing. I was chilly. But anyway, which is why I'm drinking hot water, as hot as is, you know, so I don't burn myself, but drinking hot water to clear the cold in my throat. A lot of times you'll see people who don't understand traditional Chinese medicine and they get a cold in their throat and they're drinking ice water as fast as they can to try to fix it, and it just makes it worse because ice water gives you more cold, obviously. Even water that is below your body temperature could, you know, cool you off. It wouldn't help the getting the cold, knocking the cold out of your throat. Anyway, so this is nice and steamy warm. Let's see. Yeah, so long story short, for that person who got triggered in their kitchen, just clear your baggage around owning your kitchen. It just looks like some family members that show up that are living that you're not particularly cool with. like your sister and some other people that show up when you're in your kitchen. Like normally even, but especially around holidays. As holidays approach, family members tend to be more aware of each other and like sort of busybodies with each other. So just clear your baggage that got triggered, and then even before you get home you could do it, or you could do it, you know, don't do it while you're driving, but you know, like once your car's parked you could do it. But just imagine your kitchen and just lots of earth energy soaks and gold light, and you know, gold collapsing gold nets, and give them to your angels, and just have your angels clean out your kitchen and clean everybody out of your kitchen, and just, you know, establish it with your angel help. Just be like, okay, this kitchen is just for me, and just for my husband, and just for our kids. You know, it's just for like the in-body inhabitants of the home. It's not for like family to show up and trigger me while I'm trying to do stuff. So yeah, it just, it was family members jumping in your space and being in the room at the time, and you just got all confused and weirded out. Somebody says, thank you, Janet. Feeling tired post-healing. Kids being crazier than ever at the moment. Anything my angels suggest I can do to help? What would be interesting to know is, are you more tired? Because I know you know, you have issues with fatigue a lot. So I'm curious, are you normal tired after the healing, or more tired than you were when the healing started? You know, like that kind of comparison. But you could just put that in your survey tomorrow if you want. You know, okay, I love dogs, so I'm going to use an example with dogs, but please don't be offended that I'm comparing you and your children to dogs because I really do love dogs. But you know how like there's this thing of like, you can't let your dog be the alpha, you have to be the alpha. So your kids, because your kids are aware of, you know, like chronic health issues that you have, and sort of fatigue issues that you have typically, they are they do like a sort of an alpha crazy thing where they, you know, and it's like, that's what'll happen with a dog. If a dog can kind of really spaz out if it thinks it's in charge, you know? So you don't have to like be extra strict with your kids. It's more of like an energy setting in your 7th, but like reset your 7th. So you're like, I'm in charge, you know, I am the alpha, you know, because I'm assuming, you know, your husband isn't even home, you know? So it's like, it's like if he's home, then, you know, you're both alpha, you know, but if it's just you and the kids, you know, you are the alpha, you know, just, you know, put your purple energy of confidence and alphaness in your 7th chakra, and even your 1st chakra, because your young kids are connected to your 1st chakra because your kids are so young. Just remind your 1st chakra, I am the alpha, you know, and just reset it. You know, because it's like, when they do their alpha crazy thing, they send a lot of anxiety basically into your 1st chakra, and you don't want that. You want only from you to them with that 1st chakra cord. And again, this is just with kids that are young, like 11 years old, 12 years old or younger. That 1st chakra cord should only carry like red earth energy and a little bit of your red courage energy to them. But again, that's the only situation where it's healthy to have cording with a parent and a child, is if they're that young and only at the 1st chakra level. But it should only be that one direction. So when they go nuts, they reverse the direction of that cord and send you like crazy time kind of energy. And then you're like, wow, you know, so alpha, reset the direction of the cord, the 1st chakra cord. And then if you want, like, just do an earth energy soak with your whole house, because that's a very alpha thing to do. It's like, okay, we're going to do an earth energy soak in this house. you know, and don't let your kids like plaster their energy all over every room. You know, just their energy is allowed in their aura, in and around their body, and that's it. You know, you're the alpha, they're the kid. Just like kind of remind yourself, you know, and reset your seventh, reset your first, reset those first chakra chords. I hope that helps. It says, thank you for the healing, Janet. I feel crappy and the headache is pretty bad. Does someone keep whacking me? I'm wondering if, because sometimes people put their comments pretty early, like halfway through the healing or something. So I'm wondering if you did that and that's not a at the very end of the healing type comment. But I'll look anyway. It's one of your exes. It's not your mom. I know she's always the first go-to to check if it was her, but it wasn't your mom. It's some ex of yours. I think it's well, I guess only one of your major exes. There's one that's in heaven, and of course it won't be him because people in heaven mellow out, thankfully. Is the other one that's not in heaven. But anyway, you have some hard objects in the back left of your aura, and then you have a little bit of damage to some of your meridians in your head. So yeah, just get, you know, run gold light through the big hard spear things in your auras, and a little extra to the head meridians. Just repair them, and maybe bring up red earth energy and just soak all the meridians of your head with red earth energy. So yeah, there were wax with hard objects thrown, like long spears. But your good karma windows are not currently damaged. They're just blocked up a lot. Well, halfway blocked. They used to be damaged. Now they're not damaged and they're still halfway blocked. But the biggest thing is the hard objects in your aura that you could remove, and then you repair more of all the meridians of your head. And repair your physical body 5th and 6th chakras. Physical body 5th and 6th chakras. The problem is the person kept doing it after we already repaired the chakras. So you can imagine that person though and just say, hey, you know, I mean, you can imagine them and just let them know that, I mean, because they're already whacking you constantly, so talking to them won't make it worse. You can just say, like, let me talk to him, see what I would say. No, I'll have you talk to him. Angels like it better if you talk to him. But just maybe like a park bench kind of communication with the angels present. And just, you know, because I don't think he realizes consciously. I think it's a walled off part of him that has a lot of repressed anger. But he doesn't realize that he's doing it. So if you just have like a park bench communication with him with all the angels around, that should help him to snap out of it. Someone says, beautiful, thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for the emojis. What is that last one? The green. I don't know what that is. Anyway, thanks for them. You could tell me what the green emoji was. Anyway, so it says, "Hi Janet, I did UGP, unmatched global pain, many times, but felt angry at work last week. I'm also angry with my siblings' partners about the Middle East." Oh, I see. Looks like I have more to clear. This healing is helping. Any more advice? Thanks. Felt angry at work last week. Well, there's anger and then there's anger. You know, there's like mellow anger and then there's anger that kind of distracts you and you can tell it's like kind of stuck and it's, you know, it's not, it kind of causes you to like rehash stuff in your mind, you know, that kind of stuck anger, where you're kind of looping on something, on a situation. But you can just, you know, pile up all the energy blocks that are causing you to have stuck anger and just melt them, you know, and just melt people out, melt the cords and melt the baggage, you know, because it's baggage in your space. Because I don't think it's a question of wax and stuff. I think you're just kind of, you know, simmering, like you look like a boiling pot, you know, kind of. Like there's certain energy blocks and you just kind of loop on them and they're like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. So just, yeah, I would just keep imagining your baggage that causes you to not let go and not, you know, rebalance and refocus. You know, that makes you kind of train wreck on the frustration. Just melt the baggage. All right. Hope that helps. Someone says, "Thank you for the healing. I started drawing, which is something I think about doing, art, but hold back from. So this is great. Avoidant, but about stuff I'll post on a video, but feeling good otherwise." Well, good. That's good to know. I'm glad. This is, "Thanks, Janet. Feeling mellow. Maybe a touch anxious. How is my first chakra? How did your spouse do? Less cranky lately." Oh, nice. Yeah, I think some of his family members have calmed down a little bit as far as whacking him and courting him. He did well. Inner child stuff was his favorite. Mhm. Your first chakra, you're there, you are present there, but it doesn't look entirely comfortable. Like your left side of your physical body first chakra, there's a lot of white. And also your left thigh, your physical leg, left thigh, and left knee. So from left knee all the way up to first chakra on the left side, there's a bunch of white. It's a couple invasive beings and just some energy blocks and baggage that you're avoiding a little bit. So if you just work unblocking from your knee to your first chakra on the left side of your physical body and just get back in there. You could work, you know, the pants blocks. We didn't do that in this healing, but there's the sexy models to inspire you. Unblock, you know, that area in and around, including the first and second aura layers of your astral body and physical body. That area. I'm glad you're feeling mellow. That's cool. But yeah, I think that the touch anxious is just that white from your left knee to your left side of your physical first. Someone says, "Thank you for the healing. I feel more grounded and motivated to work for my gentle creativity, which is unrelated to the theme, but I have been intuiting that should be the healing focus for me." Yeah, I mean, this healing helped so many things. I mean, it's funny though, because if you like sort of high level look, you'd be like, what did we do for families? We didn't do much for family boundaries. But a lot of, and I didn't explain it probably properly, But a lot of the sinus mask stuff helps with boundaries, including with family members. Like I was looking at various people had family members that typically cord their sinus mask areas and get into their head that way. So that was a big family boundaries part, the sinus masks, and also, of course, the unmatched global pain, unmatched family pain, unmatched blah, blah, blah pain. That section was good for family boundaries. Anyway, so I'm glad that you feel more grounded and motivated. That's good. Someone says, thanks, Janet. Sorry for the life story reading. Yeah. Someone says, thanks for the healing, Janet. You're welcome. Still working through my chronic fatigue issue. How are things looking lately? You know, I wonder if you're also considering like, you know, acupuncture for that. Because your angels are kind of mentioning that. They're kind of like 50-50 on if they mean go to find a good traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and go get regular acupuncture, or they just mean like use the 12 meridian playlist and, you know, intuit your meridians and do it that way. They kind of like both. So they're like, why do we have to pick either or? So ideally, they like both, you know, use that 12 meridian playlist and just do healthy and gentle healing of your 12 regular meridians, and then GB and CV, of course. But, you know, the meridians in that 12 meridian playlist, which I will be linking below after the healing, and putting it in the comment section. So anyway, yeah. So I guess that's their thing. So keep doing the fourth. Your fourth is generating enough energy now, both astral and physical, so that's great. You know, third chakra does have a lot to do with taking action, getting stuff done, but also like how alert and how much energy you feel. So I would say all that good work that you've been doing on your fourth chakra and fourth layers, astral and physical, add to that third chakra and do that level of work and that level of consistency on your third chakra. And see where that gets you. But then also the 12 meridians. But yeah, your fourth chakra is generating enough energy. Your kundalini does look like it's sufficient. So that's not a problem now, as far as I can see. So good work on that. So it says, thank you, Janet. I have pain in my sacral. How is my second chakra? Oh, thank goodness for the extra detail. Because I always talk about the sacrum, which, you know, this is your sacrum. Here's a model of the pelvis. And then this is the sacrum, which is really cool to unblock. So I usually don't call any chakra sacral. I just use the numbers. So I always forget what people mean when they say sacral chakra. That's not really near your sacrum. So it confuses me. Anyway, let's see. I lost the place. Oh yeah, okay. And I did not heal you in the healing, which is fine. Just for my own reference, I'm thinking out loud. Okay. How is your second chakra? Well, I want to check all of them since I didn't heal you, because I think actually, okay, astrally, 7 is fine, 6 is fine, 5 is fine, 4 is fine, 3 is fine, 2 and 1 could use repair. Astral second and astral first chakra. Physical chakras, they could all use repair. They all have at least little cracks. So I'm wondering if you did the chakra repair section that we did in the healing. It'll be its own little chapter within a day. So you could go back to it easily. But you could just go to like any of my recent healings because they all have those little chapters within a day, and there's always a chakra repair chapter. So I think the problem is not exactly your second chakra. The problem is, I mean, it is, yes, because both astral and physical, you could use repair on your second chakras. But it's like the more that's repaired, the more you have that sort of power to deal with stuff. And so if you have too much damage, it's just like it makes you kind of fumble on a spirit level and not as powerful. So I would say work chakra repair, period, on all your major chakras. You know, get all the astral ones, including physical and second and first, especially. I mean, you can repair them all at once, but you could do, actually, sometimes what I do is worst chakras. I didn't do that today. But, you know, when we do repair, we make a composite copy of all major and minor chakras and we heal them all at once, right? So you could do that, or you could do a composite copy and have it represent all your major chakras. So 7 astral and 7 physical, or just have a composite copy and have it represent, like, say, your astral second or just your astral first. Well, that wouldn't be a composite copy, but, you know, or you could just do your worst major chakras, so only the ones that are cracked or damaged, you know, just by themselves, you know, as a composite copy. You know, that might be more efficient, and then you could do spot checks and see if they're all repaired yet or not, or does 1 or 2 need more work. Idea. So I hope that helps. But yeah, you do have chakra damage. But getting all of them repaired would be better than just focusing on the second, because with the physical body 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 also damaged, it's going to be hard to really get your second just right. So it's better to just, you know, get them all, work them all. Hope that helps. And you could have me check your work, you know, like in a day or 2, post under this video or a different video, but it'd probably make more sense to post under this video in the comment section and just be like, well, just remind me, I have been working on chakra repair for all my major chakras, astral and physical. Can you double check my work? Especially second chakra, you could say. Hope that helps. I do have an individual separate video on chakra repair. If you like, you know, because sometimes people get intimidated. There's just like a psychological thing with these 3-hour live stream videos. They just feel, even if they have chapters, it just feels like not friendly enough or something, which I understand. So there is a standalone one that's like 11 minutes just on chakra repair. If you search YouTube for Janet Wright chakra repair major minor, it'll come up. I'm going to try to get it right now. We'll see if my computer behaves. Alrighty. Yeah, so I'm going to post the link in the chat for that 11-minute video. All right. Hope that helps. It says, thanks. I wrote my comment at the end of the healing. Oh, okay. I'm surprised it's my ex this time. He usually whacks me at the front. Well, you know, people can change it up. It could be that your boundaries were too good in the front. So he's like, he just found them. Also, you know, sometimes people are feeling more passive aggressive. Sometimes people are feeling in the mood for more of a frontal assault, like, screw you, and I don't care if you know I'm hurting you. But sometimes people are like, she's making too much progress, you know, and they don't want you to really know that they're triggered. So it could just be a difference in his mood at the time, whether he goes for the front or the back. But anyway, You should have actually at the front. Is he pissed because I let go more and more? Yeah, he just doesn't seem to want you to change. You know, people can be like that with exes, though. They're like, because they have this little story in their mind, like, oh, she's beneath me, or oh, you know, I'm better than her because of this, this, and this. And then, you know, if you change a lot and then it's clear that, you know, you're way more confident than he is, or you just cleared like 10 times more energy than he cleared in the last 3 years, then that kind of goes against the story that he has in his mind, you know? But I wouldn't, you tend to worry too much about why people are upset with you. It's not your problem why he's upset with you. You know, I mean, you could do that little park bench communication thing with him if you did want, with the angels, you know, help him chill out. Okay, someone says, thank you. You're welcome. Very nice emojis. Someone says, I've been receiving messages on trying to deal with it as a body issue. I know I'm supposed to remember what you were commenting about. Oh, the physical. Yeah. Maybe seeing an acupuncturist. Yeah. Deal with it as a body issue. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's always nice to do both if necessary. You know, so if you need physical treatment, like an acupuncturist working, literally doing acupuncture with you, or physical but energy healing through, you know, meridian healing, or food stuff, or, you know, sleep, changes in your sleep. You know. So cool. I'm glad you've been getting intuition. That's neat. Someone says, may I ask if I'm moving forward on my path? Yes, you are. I've been feeling a bit stressed about it the last few days, like nothing is happening on the physical. You know, if you look at a specific subpath, you know, like, okay, this is my path for getting a new job, you know, or this is my path for working out, you know, or whatever, you know, a specific sub project, then you can see like, oh yeah, I'm stopped. And then you can unblock your path better and give yourself a little mini healing on your path and stuff. So I think that would be more effective, is the area that you feel like you're really stopped in, because overall you're not stopped. But if you look at like a sub path, a spiritual path that represents you and, you know, a certain part of your life, like your love life or your work, you know, finding a new job space, something like that. I think that would help. Mrs. Thank you, Janet. This month's healing had helped shifting the issues with my coworker and my boss. Yeah, you mentioned that in your survey. That's really awesome. More boundaries and peace, letting each of us be where we are. Love the melting the cords. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, you're getting way more present. I think you just had some damage that wasn't, I think, you know, the chakra, even just basics like chakra repair, good karma window repair, I think just helped you like sort of, it's like you show me all these separate puzzle pieces that just kind of are together that were like floating around separately. Like your spirit just wasn't kind of, you know, syncing properly. You know, but now that your good karma windows are reasonably repaired, I mean, they could use more unblocking, but they're repaired. And your chakras are repaired. I mean, they could still use more unblocking, like 3, 2, 1. You don't quite fit in nicely there. So you could unblock more, especially your lower chakras. Like there's a little 7-minute video, sticky gold wax, 7 chakras. You don't need it though. You could just do it without the video. That's always quicker, but just imagine all your chakras and then just use wax, sticky gold wax, to stick to all the junk that's healthy and gentle to get rid of, and move it out and give it to your angels. It would just keep on blocking like your lower chakras, especially maybe the pants block stuff that's right that I'm showing. That would be a nice thing to do, because 3 is above there, but not that far above, because these pants, these biker shorts are coming up pretty high. And then 2 and 1 and the whole area. That could be a nice thing to unblock too. But yeah, so I'm glad the first set that you did was helpful. I mean, it tends to help everybody, but not everybody can feel the difference consciously for the first set that they ever get, the first healing set, which is unfortunate, because then some people are like, oh, I guess this doesn't work for me, and they never get more healing, you know. But It's just that it's not that it didn't help them. It's just they're still too out and disengaged from their body, even with the healing. I mean, they're closer, but they're not close enough yet and present enough to feel the difference consciously. But so it's nice that you are present enough now to feel the difference consciously, even just with the first set, so that you know, like, oh wow, this helped, you know, because it helps with motivation a lot. Someone says, thank you, you're welcome. Someone says, can you explain how someone could be moving forward overall, but not in other subcategories? I somehow find that confusing. I don't know. It's just how it looks. Yeah, I mean, you're doing so much that you're not aware that you're doing, and you're progressing in a lot of ways that you're not aware of. And so people tend to fixate on, you know, like their 3 favorite areas that they want to make progress on. And so if they're not making progress, it's like, wham, 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 I'm not making any progress in my life. I suck. I'm so stuck. But if you look just overall, you know, it can look like you're making, overall, you can be making progress. It's just that you're aware of certain subsets of your existence, and you're judging all your growth and involvement on those 2 or 3 little areas, and it's not, so, I mean, whatever, I don't know that you need to understand it. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're just kind of trapped in some kind of a thing. Like, later you'll probably get it. So don't worry about it. Just be specific. Don't worry about overall path then right now. Just like make a garden maybe if you like that, or, you know, a certain area like an emotional wellness garden, or a finding a new job garden, or a, you know, whatever kind of garden, specific, you know, be specific, because it's like if you're repairing chakras and like, say your astral body chakras are all fabulous, but like 3 of your physical body chakras are like completely screwed up. If you just view a composite of all your major chakras, it might look pretty decent, you know, so maybe you won't notice that 3 of your physical body chakras are like completely banged up and damaged. Whereas if you did them one at a time, you'd be like, fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Whoa, what's wrong with that one? You know, so sometimes you just need to section things out and look specifically at something in order to address it, because other things are going fabulously and that is definitely not. So you just, you know, it's just a strategy thing. That explanation makes sense. Thank you. You're welcome. Someone says, thank you. It's good to know I have a new member in my Backlash People Club. Well, I'm glad you have a sense of humor about it. Sense of humor always helps. Always helps. I always feel like being self-amusing is like it's like a really good, useful character trait. I think it's way more important than being able to make other people laugh is to make yourself crack up, you know, because it's good energy, you know, it just allows you to, you know, have more flow, you know, just like maybe you know, and it could be that looking at the biker shorts models, which I keep getting confused because I'm seeing the camera in reverse, but anyway, the biker shorts models may not make you laugh, but they make me laugh. But maybe just the moving water is more mellow and peaceful. All right, good. Well, I think we could wrap up here. This has been super long as usual. No shock. All right. But at least I knocked out most of the chill that I had. I hope everybody has a good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever's next for you. And if I did heal you because you purchased this set, I will be sending you an email late tonight with a survey link. And please, if you want to, take a minute to fill it out tomorrow, Monday, so that I can study what you say and what other people say and read energy and figure out what we're doing in the Tuesday healing. Alrighty, and oh, we can do an Izzy update real quick. Izzy. I won't get him all riled up or anything. I'll just talk about it. So he did have after after the last healing, which was, you know, election day, and then we went to a friend's house. I don't remember how many days after that. It might have been just like 2 days after that. And Izzy, he likes the idea of going places, but the actual experience of it, he doesn't like. He tends to get like motion sickness and barf in the car sometimes. But this time, as we arrived at our friend's house, he started having a seizure, which is not totally shocking for him because he does get seizures, but usually they're so rare, like 1 or 2 a year. So he's not on seizure pharmaceutical medication for that because the pharmaceutical medication has a lot of side effects, and if the seizures are that infrequent, you know, it's like the side effects are not worth it, you know? So, but anyway, so long story short, that day he had 2.5 seizures, like within a span of, you know, 8 hours or whatever. So that was too much. So we put him on seizure medication that his sibling had been on, who's now an angel, you know, now crossed over. But we had a lot of medicine around anyway for it, and they're pretty much the same weight. So it was not brain surgery to just put him on the medication. And so he's on seizure medication right now. And so that's fine. So he had, you know, it was interesting to see some of the side effects, like he itches himself more and his intestines aren't quite as happy as they used to be. So that's a medication side effect. But then I forgot to give him his seizure pill, you know, his medication yesterday with his late breakfast. So then last night he did get a seizure medication dose. And then 2 hours later he had a seizure, like in the middle of the night, you know, and, but he's okay now. But we think it was maybe just because we skipped that dose, and then when he got back on it, you know, his system just kind of got all wobbly. So hopefully, if we can just not miss any more doses, maybe he won't have more seizures. Knock on wood. So that's the deal. But right now he's back to, you know, his normal self. So he's fine. And he's sleeping because I think the seizures are kind of exhausting. So I won't, you know, get him all worked up, but I will move the camera so you can see him. But again, he's fine. He's sleeping. And I think as long as we keep the medication going, he'll be pretty normal. Oh, he's in his little cat carrier. I can't show him to you because I don't want to wake him up. So he's in that little carrier right there. He smushes himself into it because he's weird like that. He likes that. There are all these like big and like super big crates with pillows in them in the house, but he picks like the tiniest one and jams himself in there. So anyway, I won't show him, but anyway, he's doing well, considering. He's doing very well considering. So anyway, that's enough for the Izzy update. Tomato update, we just have lots of cherry tomatoes in the house still that we're eating from that we had brought in the house like over a month ago for the first frost. I think it was over a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. But anyway, we have a lot of them, which is fine. They're good. They're tasty. Okay, well, you're amazing. And I hope you're staying warm and not underdressing. All right, well, we'll do some confetti as we leave. Bye. You're so amazing.